Chapter 23-27. Damn it! What was the other party's spirit ship? How could it be so powerful? Could it be a heaven-grade treasure? The two demons roared crazily, their faces full of malevolence. They were too shocked. The other party's attack had destroyed their defense. This was beyond their expectations. One had to know that this was the Black Demon ship, a heaven-grade treasure. Run, run. The great demon no longer dared to have any ideas about the other party. They had to escape quickly because the other party was too evil. Boom, boom. The great demon controlled the Black Demon ship and formed a light screen again. At the same time, he turned the ship around and quickly fled into the distance. Although the Black Demon ship was huge, it was extremely fast. In an instant, it turned into a bolt of lightning and disappeared. Damn it! He escaped. Kid, hurry up and chase after him. Don't let him escape. Inside the Black Earth, the Crimson Dragon roared anxiously. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, he can't escape." As he spoke, he shot out another 2 divine crystals, which sank into the formation in front of him. Black Earth, it's up to you. Lin Xian didn't control the spirit ship directly. Instead, he handed it to Black Earth because no one knew the spirit ship better than Black Earth. Don't worry, leave it to me. Black Earth was still in the form of a broken sword. He floated forward and kept waving it. Buzz. The next moment, Black Earth emitted light, tore the void in front of him, and disappeared. In the sky, a black light moved forward quickly like a bolt of black lightning. It was the Black Demon ship. At this moment, everyone on the Black Demon ship heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that they were out of danger. This feeling of surviving a calamity was simply too wonderful. Phew! Even the great demon heaved a sigh of relief, because he also felt a trace of lingering fear. However, not long after, his body stiffened, and his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of needles. Buzz! The Black Demon ship also stopped instantly. What's going on? The powerful thrust caused their bodies to sway, and many weaker martial artists were directly thrown out. The second demon also stood up. Big brother, what's wrong? The great demon didn't say anything, but his expression was extremely solemn as he stared ahead. Everyone was puzzled as they looked ahead. The next moment, they screamed. What? This was impossible. Damn it, I don't believe it. These people screamed crazily because there was a black spirit boat floating in front of them. It was completely black and looked very simple. It was the one that had attacked them before. However, they had already shaken him off. Why would he appear now? Furthermore, what shocked them even more was that the other party was not chasing after them. Instead, he had directly appeared in front of them and blocked their path. Gulp, gulp. At this moment, everyone swallowed their saliva. Tang Kuan and the Tang family's eldest young master, who were still alive, were terrified. The second devil's expression was ugly as well. The great devil didn't say anything. He waved his arm and turned the ship around, fleeing in another direction. Boom, boom. However, before they could run far, the Black Demon ship suddenly shook violently. A violent force swallowed them up like a wave. The defense was shattered, and the ship shook. Everyone vomited blood. The weaker ones were directly crushed into a bloody mist, while the stronger ones were blasted out of the sky. It was impossible for the Black Demon ship to escape now. This was because a huge hole had appeared in the hull of his ship, directly damaging the Black Demon ship. Boom, 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 boom. The Black Demon ship quickly descended like a mountain, crashing onto a large ship. Countless cracks spread out in all directions. As for those on the Black Demon ship, they vomited blood again. How could this be? Everyone's faces were ashen. The great devil gritted his teeth in disbelief. This Black Demon ship was a heaven-grade treasure. It was extremely terrifying. Even a peerless almighty couldn't break it. How could the other party break it with a single strike? What grade had the other party's spirit boat reached? He didn't dare to imagine. At this moment, he couldn't care less. He turned around and fled. He turned into a bolt of lightning and instantly rushed into the clouds. Boom. However, it was useless. In the next moment, he fell from the sky and crashed into the ground, creating a deep pit. Above him, the black earth bloomed with light. forming a black light screen that enveloped everyone like a bowl. Buzz. Crack. The cabin door of the Black Earth opened. Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, and Murong Qingqing walked out. Linger and the others didn't come out. They were still watching from inside. Seeing Lin Xian and the other two come out, Tang Kuan and the others trembled with fear. Humph. Lin Xian stretched out his palm and sucked hard. Whoosh. Whoosh. Tang Kuan and the Tang family's eldest young master were sucked over. The two of them were grabbed by two large green palms and kept struggling. Let me go. Please, let me go. Tang Kuan and the Tang family's eldest young master begged. Let you go? Lin Xian sneered. When you attacked me previously, did you think of letting me go? You even called the 4 demons of Julie over. It's obvious that you want to kill us. How can I let you go? Don't worry, I'll give you a big gift. What are you doing? Let me tell you, the Tang family has an invincible king. If you dare to touch us, you're dead. Seeing that begging didn't work, the two of them roared ferociously again. Buzz. However, Lin Xian didn't waste time talking nonsense with them. Golden light enveloped his left eye, and the floating light god art instantly hit the two of them. I've created an illusory space. In this illusory space, I'm the ruler. 1 second outside was equivalent to 1 year inside. Inside, you'll receive all kinds of torture. After 1 day and 1 night, you'll die. After speaking, Lin Xian waved his hand and threw the two of them to the side. The two of them trembled and their eyes were empty. It was obvious that their souls had entered the illusory space created by Lin Xian. They had to pay the price for their actions. This was their fate. Hearing Lin Xian's words, the remaining Tang family's cultivators in the distance trembled. 1 second outside was equivalent to 1 year inside, and they had to endure 1 day and 1 night. Wouldn't this add up to a few hundred years? They couldn't die even if they wanted to. This was the most unbearable thing. Let us go. Please, let us go. At least give us a quick death. Some people knelt and begged for mercy. However, there were also a few people who roared crazily. Damn it, kill. We'll self-detonate. Even if we die, we'll take them with us. Whoosh. However, it was useless. The Crimson Dragon spat out dragon flames that filled the sky and instantly burned these people to ashes. I'll leave the 2 demons to you. I'll deal with the great demon. Lin Xian's figure flashed. He pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and walked forward again. Little girl Morong, leave it to me. Bin Huang hasn't fought in a long time. The Crimson Dragon said. Hearing this, Murong Qingqing nodded. All right. She didn't make a move. The Crimson Dragon swung its tail and attacked the 2 demons. On the other side, Lin Xian faced the great demon again. Chapter 23-28. The great demon roared angrily. His eyes were unusually cold. He knew that he couldn't escape. He had to fight with all his might and kill the detestable kid in front of him. Only then could he escape. Boom. Therefore, in the next moment, his demonic aura surged into the sky as he unleashed his combat strength to the extreme. This was a battle of life and death. He definitely wouldn't hold back. Death Strike. The great demon first used the death curse to prevent his opponent's soul attack. Then, he unleashed a powerful death strike. The terrifying scythe slashed out like a river that roared into the 9 heavens. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian also used the chaotic sky destroyer sword to fight with him. The two of them fought until the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. In the end, Lin Xian even used the terrifying divine ability of the great dragon sword soul. The sky was filled with attacks, terrifying divine beasts, and various divine abilities. The great demon was forced to retreat. The great demon was too shocked. He didn't expect his opponent to be so powerful. He had even started to burn his spiritual power. However, he was still suppressed by his opponent. This was unbearable. Damn kid. I'll kill you at all costs. The great demon retreated rapidly. He waved his hand and stabbed the scythe into the ground. Then, his hands quickly formed seals. Heavenly demon descent. With a roar, the demonic aura on his body burned fiercely. Even the blood in his body began to burn. A black vortex appeared above his head. A blurry shadow instantly descended. The shadow was like a demon god. It brought with it a powerful pressure that crushed all directions. The moment it appeared, it shattered the 9 heavens. Buzz. The terrifying shadow entered the great demon's body. The great demon roared ferociously. The armor on his body instantly shattered. His terrifying muscles bulged and his black hair danced wildly. He was extremely ferocious. He roared crazily as if he had gone mad. The demonic aura on his body turned into monstrous waves that swept in all directions. Boom, boom. In an instant, the surrounding space was completely shattered. The ground also cracked. At this moment, his power skyrocketed again. Previously, he was an early stage 8-star. Now, it seemed that he had reached the peak of that stage. Kid, how can you defeat me? You don't have the right. I've cultivated for almost 2,000 years. I can't defeat you. Go to hell. The great demon roared crazily. The demonic chi on his body burned fiercely. The black scythe in his hand slashed down crazily. A pair of black wings even appeared on his back, causing his speed to become even faster than before. In the blink of an eye, the great demon unleashed over 100 attacks. Wong. Lin Xian's dragon sword domain transformed into an azure dragon cauldron, protecting him. As for him, he brandished the dragon source ancient sword and clashed with it. Intense sounds rang out in the sky. However, the great demon used all of his strength and didn't hesitate to burn his life force, so his combat strength increased greatly. This caused Lin Xian to continuously retreat. Pong. It was yet another shocking strike. Lin Xian was pushed back by 3,000 li, smashing through a lot of the void. There was even a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Seeing this, the great demon laughed even more wildly. Ha 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 ha. Kid, you are no match for me. Now go to hell. He shouted crazily, and the demonic energy on his body burned fiercely. It was very eye-catching. In an instant, the great demon was like a demon king, holding a black scythe and charging over. The entire sky was trembling. At this moment, the great demon seemed to have become the only thing in the world. This attack was so terrifying that even Morong Qingcheng, who was watching the battle from afar, changed his expression. The second demon also laughed loudly. Do you see that? This is my big brother's true strength. Oh no. Lin Xian quickly dodged and raised his sword. The sword energy in front of him intertwined to form a light screen, blocking the attack. However, this attack was too terrifying. It was the great demon's full-strength attack. Moreover, behind the great demon, a ferocious demon with mysterious power appeared. Therefore, in an instant, Lin Xian's sword light screen was shattered. The terrifying black energy blasted his body. The azure dragon cauldron let out an earth-shattering sound. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian kept retreating. Cracks appeared on the azure dragon cauldron, and some parts were directly split open. Lin Xian's chi and blood churned, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. When the great demon saw this scene, he shouted crazily, Kid, do you see that? This is my true strength. The great demon sneered. After being possessed by the heavenly demon, his combat strength had greatly increased, far surpassing before. Moreover, he was burning his life force and demonic energy. It made his fighting strength become abnormally violent. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. The sword energy around his body gathered again, forming a green pagoda that protected him. At the same time, his body retreated rapidly, leaving countless afterimages in the sky. You want to leave? Not so fast. The great demon waved his hand, and the entire sky turned pitch black. His king's domain instantly enveloped a radius of 100,000 miles. Today is the day you die. The great demon's voice was cold, and his killing intent became even more intense, causing the entire world to tremble. It was as if he had transformed into a heavenly demon. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Morong Qingcheng cried out and was about to attack. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon also started to worry. He didn't expect the great demon to be able to use the power of a heavenly demon. On the Black Earth, Xiao Kuang and the others were even more worried. However, they couldn't help at all. Linger looked at the short sword in front of her and begged, Black Earth, Hurry up and activate the spirit boat. Kill the great demon king and save Big Brother Lin. However, Black Earth shook his sword. He has his own mission, and I can't do it. Black Earth also turned around and looked into the distance, at the same time thinking, as the successor of the dragon sword, you have to go through these trials and battles. The path of a great emperor isn't easy to walk. Boom. The demonic energy in front of him became even more terrifying. The black scythe once again pierced through the green pagoda and enveloped Lin Xian, wanting to cut him in half. Lin Xian's muscles instantly tightened, and he felt that the qi and blood in his body were about to freeze. Humph! In the next moment, a sharp light appeared in his eyes, and the first seal of the dragon source ancient sword was quickly undone. At the same time, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared crazily. Lin Xian also launched a shocking attack. This sword was too terrifying, as if it resonated with heaven and earth. Endless dragon roars and sword cries rang out. Boom! This sword slammed into the black scythe, causing a shocking explosion and stopping the black scythe's advance. He blocked it. Seeing this scene, Morong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief and stopped advancing. She retreated to the side and continued to watch. What? How is this possible? The great demon was also stunned. How is it possible that the opponent can also increase his battle strength? Could it be that the opponent has some other secret technique? Thinking of this, his face turned gloomy. Damn brat, die. Chapter 23-29. He roared angrily, wanting to force the other party back. The heavenly demon phantom appeared on his body again, and a terrifying power was crazily focused on the black scythe. At this moment, a terrifying demonic aura surged into the sky within a radius of 100,000 miles, turning into rolling power that drilled into the great demon's body. Boom! The ancient dragon abyss sword was forced back again, and Lin Xian also kept retreating, causing the ground to crack. I have the heavenly demon augmentation and am invincible among my peers. What do you have to fight me? The great demon roared angrily. Invincible among your peers? You think too highly of yourself. In the vast continent, there are billions of living beings. What right do you have to say that you are invincible among your peers? Today, I will let you know what it means by there is always someone better than you. Buzz. In Lin Xian's body, the great dragon sword soul kept roaring. The sword aura on his body became even more terrifying. You still want to fight back? You have no chance. Go to hell. Heavenly demon overturn region. The great demon roared crazily and struck out his most powerful attack. Rumble. Between heaven and earth, demonic aura permeated, and even black lightning descended. This attack was too terrifying, as if it could destroy the entire world. Great dragon kill. Lin Xian also roared angrily. Like a sword god descending, the great dragon sword soul in his body surged and attached to the ancient dragon abyss sword. Boom! Like a dragon attacking, it roared into the 9 heavens. A shocking collision occurred, and dozens of cracks that were tens of thousands of meters long appeared between heaven and earth. It was like a black dragon dancing in the sky. It was extremely terrifying. This attack was too shocking, and it even spread for hundreds of thousands of miles. What happened? This battle finally attracted the attention of the cultivators in the nearby cities. For a moment, the cultivators in several cities raised their heads and looked into the distance. Then, they were extremely shocked, because hundreds of thousands of miles away, there was a huge black crack in the sky that was constantly being torn apart. It was as if the entire sky had been split into two. Endless black lightning struck down crazily. What was going on? Could it be that someone was transcending a tribulation? Or was there a shocking super battle? These cultivators were shocked because this scene was too terrifying. Even the peerless powerhouses in the city rose into the sky. Their eyes were like divine lamps, looking into the distance. But it was too far, hundreds of thousands of miles away. They couldn't see it clearly. Moreover, the storm was also very strong. Go over to take a look. How many peerless almighties were flying forward? Because they were really too curious. Just what kind of battle could cause such a terrifying scene? The collision of the ancient sword and the black sickle was like the collision of 10,000 lightning bolts. In the next moment, cracking sounds could be heard in the sky. More and more cracks appeared on the black scythe. Boom. Then, the black sickle shattered into countless pieces and scattered all over the ground. Pong. The ancient sword descended once more and stabbed into the great demon's body. Boom. The great demon's body instantly split open. Blood spurted out, dyeing the void red. Big brother. When the second devil saw this, he howled in rage. His face was filled with horror because he couldn't believe that his brother was still injured after using the heavenly demon possession spell. Moreover, he was so severely injured that he was almost split in half. Boom. The great demonic Tao cultivator was sent flying, causing the ground to crack. In the next moment, he let out a crazy roar. The demonic chi on his body surged wildly, trying to heal his wounds. However, this sword strike contained the terrifying power of the great dragon sword soul. It was impossible to heal it in a short period of time. A terrifying amount of blood gushed out from the wound. Shock, anger, and fear. The great demon couldn't believe that Lin Fan could shatter his weapon. That black scythe was an extremely frightening treasure. But now, it had been shattered. What was even more despicable was that the sword strike had almost split him in half. Damn it! The great demon roared crazily. He once again used all the power in his body. The heavenly demon phantom became even more solid. However, he didn't fight Lin Xian to the death. Instead, he turned around and fled. He couldn't win and didn't want to fight anymore. He only wanted to escape. However, Lin Xian didn't give him a chance. He held the ancient dragon sword with both hands, and the great dragon sword soul spread out, forming a true dragon that wrapped around Lin Xian. Then, Lin Xian merged with the sword and turned into a dragon shadow that rushed over. Buzz. Pong. The sword pierced through his heart. The great demon stopped in midair. He lowered his head, his face full of shock. No. Can. A transparent bloody hole appeared on his body. His internal organs were completely destroyed. He had received a fatal injury. Not only that, but his soul also seemed to have been split open. Boom. In the next moment, his body fell and smashed the ground. In the dust that filled the sky, a heavenly demon phantom entered the black hole and disappeared. Dead. The incomparably terrifying great demon was actually killed. This scene caused everyone to be shocked. Xiao Kuang and the others were shocked. They couldn't believe it. The second demon opened his eyes wide. That was his big brother, who was countless times stronger than him. However, he was actually killed. This made his body tremble. He also wanted to escape, but in the end, he was also killed by the Crimson Dragon. From then on, the 4 demons of Julie were all destroyed. The cultivators from the Tang family were all killed. After putting away the great demon and the second demon's storage rings, Lin Xian waved his sleeve and put away the black demon ship. Then, he entered the Black Tycoon. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and drove the black earth, turning into a stream of light and disappearing. Not long after Lin Xian left, a few rays of light flew over from afar. They were the peerless powerhouses of the nearby cities. The phenomenon of heaven and earth from before aroused their curiosity. Therefore, they came over to investigate. However, when they arrived, it was as if they were struck by lightning. Because the area within a radius of 100,000 miles was destroyed beyond recognition. The ground seemed to have been flipped open, and countless cracks spread out. In the sky, there was still a terrifying killing intent left. The surrounding sea of blood surged, but it still refused to dissipate. Needless to say, the one who died must be a peerless powerhouse, because only the blood of such a powerhouse would have such terrifying energy. Even if he died, it wouldn't dissipate. This is the second demon, an old man exclaimed. This was the second demon of the 4 demons of Julie. He was actually killed. Heavens! Who the hell did this? These peerless powerhouses were extremely shocked. The second demon of the 4 demons of Julie was extremely terrifying. He was a peerless powerhouse and had a fierce reputation. These people did not dare to provoke him. But now, he was actually killed here. How could the other 3 demons endure it? Especially the great demon. He was even more terrifying. When they thought of that great demon, their scalps went numb. However, soon, they screamed because they also discovered the great demon's corpse. What? The great demon was also killed. Seeing the great demon's pierced body, the peerless powerhouses in the sky trembled. Who was it that could kill the great demon? Did an invincible king make a move? They swallowed their saliva. From the looks of it, the 3 demons and 4 demons were most likely dead. Who was it? To be able to kill the 4 demons of Julie. High energy ahead, 3rd of next month, explosive update. Note, it's explosive update. Please look forward to it. Chapter 23:30. They didn't know, but they didn't dare to stay any longer. They looked around in surprise, fearing that the mysterious expert was still hiding in the surroundings. In fact, a few of them even ran away. Although they were also peerless powerhouses, they were still inferior to the great demon and the second demon. However, even a terrifying demon king like the great demon was killed. If that person attacked them, they had no chance of survival. Although they had escaped, the news had spread out. For a moment, the entire Julie dynasty was shocked. Because the 4 demons of Julie were notorious in the Julie dynasty, and no one dared to provoke them. However, these 4 terrifying people were actually slaughtered. This was truly a shocking piece of news. For a moment, everyone was talking about who did it. Qinshan Domain, Qinshan City. When the cultivators in the city heard the news, they were also in an uproar. The 4 demons of Julie, such powerful demon kings, were killed. Who did it? The 4 demons were from the Tang family. The young master of the Tang family had a conflict with the mysterious young man. Do you think it was that kid who did it? What? Are you talking about that heaven-defying kid? Many people exclaimed. They thought of Lin Xian. However, some seniors shook their heads. Impossible. Although that kid is powerful, it's impossible for him to kill the 4 demons. He doesn't have that ability. Such a terrifying devil king had existed for thousands of years. His strength was extremely terrifying, unless an unrivaled king took action. Unless they're invincible experts, no one can kill them. Perhaps it wasn't that kid who did it. However, it was the expert behind that kid who did it. That guy is so strong. It's impossible for him to be unknown. It's possible. Everyone was discussing. The city lord's mansion was silent when they heard the news. Because young Master Qinshan was killed, they were furious and wanted to gather experts to catch the murderer. But now, when they heard the news, they hesitated. Because according to their guess, the 4 demons of Julie were probably sent by Tranquil and the others to kill that kid. But now, they were killed. Needless to say, there must be a terrifying expert behind that kid. That kind of person could even kill the 4 demons, let alone them. Therefore, these powerhouses of the city lord's mansion had faces full of terror. They did not dare to search for the culprit at all. On the other hand, the Tang family was unusually furious. To be honest, the Tang family was bewildered when they first received the news. What the hell? The 4 devils of Julie were destroyed? What a joke. Those were the 4 devils of Julie. More importantly, when had they ever sent out the 4 demons of Julie? Therefore, at first, they thought it was a rumor that someone was trying to suppress the Tang family. However, they found out later that the entire dynasty was talking about it. This made them feel that something was wrong. The members of the Tang family tried to contact the 4 devils of Julie, but there was no response from them. It was as if the other party had disappeared. One had to know that even if they couldn't contact him, the entire country was talking about it. Given the personalities of the 4 demons of Julie, they would definitely jump out at the first opportunity to dispel this rumor. However, after such a long time had passed, the 4 Julie demons still hadn't come out. This gave them a bad feeling. What's going on? The Tang family's patriarch finally could not sit still anymore, so he began to ask. Soon, they found out that the 4 devils of Julie had been transferred away. Not only that, but many powerhouses and elders of the Tang family had also been transferred away. What? Tang Kuan and the others were transferred away? Damn it! What did these guys do? When the patriarch and elders of the Tang family heard the news, their faces immediately darkened. The 4 devils of Julie had been transferred away. Could the rumor be true? They hurriedly ran to Qinshan City to ask and collect all kinds of evidence. In the end, They concluded that perhaps the four devils of Julie had really been destroyed. It was not just the four devils of Julie, Tongkuan and the other two, as well as the elite powerhouses and elders of the Tang family, were all killed. None of them returned. This news caused a huge earthquake in the Tang family. What kind of joke was this? The Tang family had never suffered such a blow for thousands of years. Who exactly dared to go against the Tang family? Soon, they received news from Qinshan City that it was a mysterious young man. Their images had been captured by the Tang family and were placed in the hall at this moment. These images were of Lin Xian and the others. The entire hall was filled with the patriarch of the Tang family, as well as many elders and elite martial artists. It was densely packed with people. A few of his subordinates quickly reported to him. What they were talking about was naturally what had happened in the Moonflower Palace. What did you say? Not only did this brat kill the third young master in public, he even killed young Master Qinshan? When they heard this, everyone immediately screamed. They couldn't believe it. Who was it that dared to do such a big thing in Qinshan City? Moreover, it was in the Moonflower Palace. Damn it! Didn't the people of the Moonflower Palace make a move? An elder roared. This was because they knew the rules of the Moonflower Palace. No one dared to make a move there, not even a peerless powerhouse. However, that brat actually made a move openly. What was even stranger was that the people of the Moonflower Palace didn't care at all. When they heard that the brat was actually invited away by the master of the Moonflower Palace, these elders were all dumbfounded. What was going on? Where did this brat come from? He was actually able to contact the people of the Moonflower Palace, and it seemed that their relationship wasn't shallow. Later on, when the matter was reported one by one, these elders were completely stunned. This was because they discovered that the other party was too powerful and didn't seem like a young man at all. It seemed that it was this brat who did it. They didn't know what family force was behind him that could actually destroy the four Jilly demons. No matter who he is, if he dares to provoke our Tang family, we will definitely not let him off. That's for sure. We must catch that brat and tear him into pieces. The elders of the Tang family roared angrily. The Tang family patriarch's face was also gloomy. He began to issue orders. Gather all forces and track down that brat's whereabouts for me. Go to Qinshan City and join forces with the city lord's mansion. Their young master Qinshan was killed. I don't believe that they won't be angry. If our two forces join forces, no matter how strong that brat is, he won't be able to contend against us. Do you really think that our Tang family only has the four Jilly demons? At this point, the Tang family patriarch's eyes emitted a cold light. Indeed, their Tang family wasn't an ordinary family, but an invincible house of kings. With an invincible king overseeing the family, it could be said to be incomparably terrifying. No matter how strong the other party was, could he contend against an invincible king? Soon, these martial artists of the Tang family moved out. Many people rushed to Qinshan City, preparing to join forces with the city lord's mansion. However, before they arrived, another group of people arrived at Qinshan City ahead of time. Chapter 23:31. This group of people was naturally from the Tai dynasty. They had chased after Lin Xian all the way and had never given up on hunting him down. Finally, they arrived at Qinshan City. However, when they heard the news from Qinshan City, they frowned. They were too late. Moreover, what shocked them was that Lin Xian had done something big in Qinshan City. It was even possible that the death of the Julie Four Demons had something to do with him. That kid was too arrogant. How dare he offend anyone? An elder from the Tai dynasty frowned. A middle-aged man next to him said in a deep voice, "Don't forget that he even dared to kill the Golden Lion King. What else did he not dare to do?" Hearing that, everyone fell silent. Indeed, the Golden Lion King was a genius of the war tribe. If he was killed, the Jilly Four Demons were nothing. When they heard that young Master Qian San was killed, they decided to go to the governor's mansion. They thought that the governor's mansion must be furious and would be very willing to cooperate with them. Sure enough, when these people arrived, the governor personally came out to welcome them. The governor was a middle-aged man who looked very dignified. However, at this moment, his face was extremely gloomy. That was because his son had been killed in his own city. This made him unusually angry. However, he could not find the other party now. Moreover, the other party had a terrifying strength behind him, which made him feel extremely aggrieved. But now, the people from the Tai dynasty had arrived. Moreover, he also learned that the other party was a wanted criminal of the Tai dynasty. The governor revealed a sinister smile. Immediately, he joined forces with the powerhouses of the Tai dynasty to capture the other party. The two parties discussed in the main hall. However, half a day later, another group of people arrived. They landed. The people from the governor's mansion were surprised and hurriedly went out. Those people who came were naturally from the Tung family. They were also very surprised. They did not expect that there would be other people besides them. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the other party was a powerhouse from the Tai dynasty. When the Tung family learned about what happened, they were immediately shocked. The three families immediately joined forces. Moreover, the Tung family suggested that they join forces with more families. This was because Lin Xian had not only killed the people from the Tung family and the governor's mansion, but also many young masters from other families. Therefore, they wanted to join forces with those families. Sure enough, those clans responded one after another. If they were asked to come out alone to take revenge, they wouldn't dare. But now, with the city lord's mansion, the Tang family, and the Tai dynasty taking the lead, they were filled with confidence. Therefore, they all joined the revenge team. When these people joined forces, they formed a super powerful force. Very quickly, they headed towards the place where the great devil was killed. The group of people finally arrived at the location of the battle. They looked at the scene around them and gasped. It was clear that the battle was very fierce. However, they weren't here to enjoy the battle. Instead, they were here to track the other party. Soon, several figures landed on the Tai dynasty's side. Similarly, two figures descended from the city lord's mansion and the Tang family. After these people came down, their eyes shone brightly, and mysterious runes surrounded them. They grabbed at the air as if they were trying to catch something. There was even a young man who was pinching his fingers non-stop, as if he was trying to divine something. "How is it?" General Shinying asked in a deep voice. At the side, the eyes of the elders of the city lord's mansion and the Ting family also flickered. "Northwest." The young man looked into the distance and said in a clear voice. Whoosh! The group flew for about 100,000 li before stopping again. The young man divined again. 30,000 li to the left. They set off again. On the other side, in an empty valley, Lin Xian and the others were resting. Beside them was a huge black ship. There was a terrifying hole on it. This black ship was the Black Demon ship. It had been directly hit by the Black Earth and was damaged. At this moment, it could no longer fly. However, if it could be repaired, it would still be a sub-heaven artifact. Moreover, the energy required to power the Black Demon ship was much less than the Black Earth. It was just right for Lin Xian to use now. Therefore, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were discussing how to repair the Black Demon ship. On the other side, Murong Qingqing, Zhao Zhirua, and the others were sitting together, chatting and resting. After all, the previous battle had indeed made them nervous. Now, it was time to relax. "Junior brother Lin, I don't think there's anything else, so I'll go home first. After all, such a big thing has happened. I have to inform the family." Zhao Zhirua stood up. At the side, Xiao Kuang also said, "Yes, brother Lin. We're also preparing to return to the Hong sect. Brother Lin, I can't bear to part with you." Ling Er pouted. "Don't worry, when I'm free, I'll go to the Hong sect to find you." Lin Xian smiled. Then, he looked at the others. "Do you need me to send you back?" "No need. We should be safe if we go back now." Zhao Zhirua and Xiao Kuang shook their heads. "Junior sister Qingqing, what about you?" Zhao Zhirua looked at Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing said, "I want to stay with Brother Xian for a while, and we have some things to investigate." However, just as she finished speaking, the purple bell on her waist started to shake rapidly. Seeing this scene, Murong Qingqing frowned. At the side, Zhao Zhirua also said, "This matter?" The sacred ground was sending a message. Could it be that something had happened? It seemed that he had to go back first. Murong Qingqing sighed. "Brother Xian, something happened in the sacred land. I'm afraid I have to go back first." Lin Xin rubbed Qingqing's hair. If you have something to do, go back. Don't worry about me. There will be plenty of opportunities to meet in the future. All right, this is the information about that place. You can take it back to the sacred land. Lin Xian took out a jade slip and gave it to Morong Qingqing. There was some information about the nest of 10,000 dragons. Okay. Morong Qingqing took it and said softly, Brother Xian, be careful. I'm afraid the Teng family won't let this go so easily. Don't worry, with the Black Earth, I won't be in danger. Lin Xian smiled. At the side, Zhao Zhirua also said, Junior sister, I'll go back with you. Buzz. The two of them soared into the sky and quickly disappeared. On the other side, Xiao Kuang also left. Only Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were left. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Let's move. He was prepared to explore the Black Demon ship above. The most important thing now was to increase his strength. Only then would he have the qualifications to propose to the Jade Lake Sacred Land. With a flash, Lin Xian and the Dark God Dragon boarded the Black Demon ship. There were palaces and pavilions on the ship, and the deck was engraved with runes. Lin Xian and An Hong swept their gazes across the ship. Then, they nodded in satisfaction. The two of them quickly inquired, but not long after, the Crimson Dragon frowned. Brat, there seems to be a fluctuation in there? I feel it too. Lin Xian stood up and frowned. His eyes emitted a golden light as he looked forward. Chapter 23:32. Lin Xian stood up and frowned. His eyes shone with a golden light as he looked ahead. In front of him on the right, there was a fluctuation of life coming from a pavilion. This surprised Lin Xian. He didn't feel it before. Now that he was closer, he felt that there was someone inside. Who was it? He didn't know. But he secretly circulated his internal force and even pulled out his ancient sword. After all, this black ship belonged to the 4 demons of Julie. The person inside must be related to the 4 demons of Julie. Therefore, he had to be careful. The two of them carefully walked towards the pavilion in front of them. After walking over, Lin Xian's frown deepened. Because the entire pavilion was covered with runes and was sealed. There must be some secret to protect it so tightly. Lin Xian said, Ruzalong, hurry up and unlock it. The Crimson Dragon waved its dragon claws and quickly cracked the rune array. These runes were very mysterious. Under normal circumstances, it would take a few days to crack them. But now, the Black Demon ship was broken and couldn't continue to provide energy. Therefore, it wasn't difficult to crack the runes of this array. This was probably why Lin Xian hadn't sensed any life fluctuations before, but now he did. It was probably because the array was weakened that the fluctuation of life was transmitted. Boom, boom, boom. In front of them, the array runes disappeared, revealing a red door. Lin Xian slapped it open. Let's go. The two of them bloomed with light. Lin Xian even used the dragon sword domain to protect his body. Then, the two of them walked in. Woo woo woo, however. Not long after they entered, the two of them were stunned. The Crimson Dragon's eyes widened. What the hell? What's going on? Lin Xian was also very surprised because this scene was completely different from what he had imagined. In front of them wasn't a fierce enemy, but a little girl. There was a huge black stone pillar in front of them. It was engraved with demonic runes. In front of the stone pillar was a little girl. She had delicate features and was very beautiful. From the looks of it, she was only 15 or 16 years old. The little girl was tied to a black stone pillar. Her body was covered with black 9 nether flowers, binding her tightly. At this moment, seeing Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon come in, the little girl in front of them whimpered. Her beautiful big eyes were filled with fear and pleading. What was going on? Why was there a little girl tied up here? Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were confused. However, from the looks of it, he should have been tied up by the Julie 4 devils as well. However, why did these 4 devils want to kidnap a little girl? Did this little girl offend the Ting family too? They didn't know, but the two of them walked up and prepared to rescue the little girl. Ruzalong, Lin Xian shouted. The Crimson Dragon nodded and began to walk around the black stone pillar. Then it said, Damn, these Julie 4 demons are too perverted. He had actually set up 18 layers of defense to tie up a little girl. If the black demon ship hadn't shattered and the energy hadn't disappeared, we probably wouldn't have known that there was someone here. Is it easy to break? Lin Xian asked. Don't worry, leave it to Ben Huang. He didn't care about this kind of formation at all. The Crimson Dragon waved its dragon claws and quickly broke the formation. The little girl, on the other hand, stared with her black eyes and blinked. After about half a day, the 18 layers of defense were broken. Only the 9 nether flowers were left on the ground. Oomph! Lin Xian snorted coldly and waved his long sword, cutting the 9 nether flowers in half. All of the flowers were destroyed. The little girl was saved. Her large, black, jewel-like eyes were filled with shock, because she really didn't dare to believe that she was saved. Little girl, what's your name? Are you scared, silly? The Crimson Dragon asked when he saw that the other party still didn't leave even though there were no more formation restrictions on them. However, the little girl lowered her head and grabbed the corner of her clothes with her small hands. She was very afraid, because she wasn't sure who the 2 people in front of her were. Forget it, come out with us. Lin Xian waved his hand and didn't force her. It was obvious that the other party was very afraid. She would probably be fine after spending some time with him. Lin Xian's soul probed and looked at the other party. He found that she wasn't injured, which made him feel much more at ease. Therefore, he looked around. Other than the little girl being held captive, the rest of the place was empty and there was nothing else. Lin Xian reincarnated and left the pavilion. Then, he went to other buildings. There were many resources, treasures, cultivation methods, and weapons inside, but no one else was imprisoned. This made Lin Xian very curious. Who was this little girl, and why was she imprisoned by the 4 Jilly demons? However, he thought that her identity must not be simple. Otherwise, a demon king like the 4 Jilly demons would have set up so many formations. He looked around. Lin Xian had a general understanding of the black demon ship. Then, he jumped off the black demon ship and went to the side. The Crimson Dragon was sorting out the treasures and resources. The little girl also followed Lin Xian down the black demon ship. However, she didn't dare to get too close and kept a distance of 4 to 5 meters from Lin Xian. What's your name? Why are you imprisoned here? Lin Xian sat down, looked at the other party, and asked doubtfully. However, that little girl didn't say anything. Her large black eyes were blinking non-stop. Lin Xian shook his head and didn't force the other party. However, at this moment, he heard the other party's stomach rumbling. Immediately, a smile appeared on his face. With a wave of his hand, he built a fire. Then, Lin Xian smiled and said, Ruzalong, go and catch a few demon beasts. All right, catch a few with meat. Got it. I've become an errand boy. The Crimson Dragon looked unwilling and flew into the distance. The snow-white monkey also came out of the black earth and also flew into the distance. It seemed that it had gone to pick some. After about half an hour, the 2 of them flew back again. Bang bang. The Crimson Dragon threw down a demon bull. This demon bull was green in color and had 2 heads. It looked very ferocious. Its body was very large, like a small mountain. Therefore, when it landed, the ground shook and cracked. In addition, the Crimson Dragon also caught a few blue-eyed demon rabbits. These weren't ordinary rabbits. Each of them was more than 2 meters tall. Although they were dead, their bodies were still emitting a terrifying demonic aura. Woogie on the other side. The snow-white monkey flew over with a small mountain of spiritual fruits. These were all picked by it. These fruits were crystal clear and full of spiritual energy. The snow-white monkey picked a few and hid them well. It seemed that they were snacks prepared for itself. It picked up the rest and ate happily. As it ate, it also threw them to Lin Xian and the little girl. When the snow-white monkey came out, the little girl stared at it without blinking because she found the snow-white monkey too cute. Woogie, the snow-white monkey carried 2 spiritual fruits and came in front of the little girl. A smile finally appeared on the little girl's face, and she even reached out to rub the little fox's head. Lin Xian smiled faintly when he saw this. Then, he began to tidy up the corpses of the demon beasts. Chapter 23:33. Buzz. Soon, piles of barbecued meat were placed on top of the bonfire. Lin Xian flicked his finger and hellfire gushed out, barbecuing the meat quickly. The hellfire burned away all the demonic energy in the meat, ensuring that there was no harm to the human body. Soon, the barbecued meat turned golden. Lin Xian tasted it and found it delicious. Ben Huang couldn't wait any longer. The Crimson Dragon tore off a cow leg. It was as big as a house and enjoyed its meal. On the other side, the little white monkey also jumped over and snatched one. The little girl swallowed her saliva and blinked her big black eyes. Obviously, she also wanted to eat. Come over. Lin Xian beckoned. The little girl hesitated. She realized that the man and two beasts in front of her didn't seem like bad guys. So, she walked over. Lin Xian gave her a piece of rabbit meat and ate some himself. He asked as he ate, "What's your name?" "Xia Xingchen." "What a nice name." Lin Xian nodded. Then, he asked, "How were you captured? Why did the 4 Jili demons capture you?" "I don't know." Xia Xingchen shook her head. "I snuck out of my house to play and was then captured by those bad guys. They've been trapping me for almost a month." At this point, Xia Xingchen lowered her head, her face full of grievance. Indeed, no one would be happy to be captured for no reason and trapped for a month. However, Lin Xian felt that things weren't that simple. Xia Xingchen's identity was very special. Otherwise, the 4 Jili demons wouldn't have captured an ordinary person. However, Lin Xian didn't feel a particularly powerful aura from Xia Xingchen. It seemed that she had cultivated before, but her cultivation wasn't high. So, Lin Xian asked, "Where's your house?" "I'll send you back." Such a little girl with a low cultivation wouldn't be able to survive if she walked back alone. Anyway, he wasn't in a hurry. He might as well send her back first. Yes, Peach Blossom Island. Xia Xingchen thought for a moment and said her home. Hearing the name, Lin Xian was stunned. Peach Blossom Island? He had never heard of him. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon almost bit off its own tongue. Where? Peach Blossom Island? What, Lin Xian asked. Judging from the other party's expression, he should know. The Crimson Dragon nodded. Of course he knew. However, Peach Blossom Island is located in the East Sea. That was a place even further east than the Eastern Wilderness. Why did you come to Zhongzhou State? Was this the Central State? Isn't it the Eastern Wilderness? Xingchen was also surprised. She scratched her head and took a bite of the rabbit meat. I don't know. I just came out to play for a few days. At this point, Xia Xingchen's face twitched and tears were about to fall. Don't you cry. Lin Xian comforted. Although Peach Blossom Island is a bit far, you can rest assured that I will definitely send you back. However, this might take a long time. Lin Xian decided to help the little girl because he was the one who had saved her. Moreover, looking at her pitiful appearance, he couldn't bear to see her homeless. However, it was impossible for him to return to the Eastern Wilderness now. He still had things to do. Therefore, he decided to keep her by his side for a while. Although he was facing many pursuers, it would be very safe to leave her in the Black Earth. After that, Xia Xingchen stayed by Lin Xian's side. Xiaobai, let me give you a bath, okay? Xia Xingchen hugged the snow-white monkey and kept rubbing its head. Little dragon, take me to the sky. Not long after, Xia Xingchen grabbed the Crimson Dragon's tail and shook it non-stop. The Crimson Dragon bared its fangs in displeasure. However, in the end, it bent down and pulled Xia Xingchen up. Then, it flew in the valley. Wow, this is great. We can fly. Xia Xingchen was very happy. Lin Xian looked at this scene and was very surprised. One had to know that he had wanted the Crimson Dragon more than once, wanting to use it as a free mount. However, the Crimson Dragon refused no matter what. In the end, Lin Xian gave up. However, he didn't expect the Crimson Dragon to carry someone else. This was too surprising. What kind of magic does this Xia Xingchen have? Big brother Lin, I'm hungry. I want to eat roasted rabbit. Xia Xingchen flew for a while and came over to grab Lin Xian's arm. Lin Xian could only give her roasted rabbit. 2 days passed like this. Lin Xian put away the Black Demon ship. Then, the group entered the Black Earth. Let's go. Lin Xian decided to go to the border of the 9th Netherworld dynasty. He wanted to lie low for a while. At the same time, he wanted to find some blacksmiths to see if they could repair the Black Demon ship. If he took out the black demon ship in the vicinity, it would definitely attract the attention of those people. After all, the black demon ship was too famous. However, if he went to the border, things would be different. The forces there were complicated. If it really didn't work, he could go to the opposite country. Not long after Lin Xian and the others left, a black cloud appeared in the sky and pressed down. If one looked carefully, they would realize that it wasn't a black cloud, but people. Countless figures were densely packed. They were like celestial soldiers and generals, floating in the void and emitting a terrifying aura. It directly shattered heaven and earth. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 10 figures descended from the sky and arrived at the valley below. They looked around and then frowned. There were many bones of demonic beasts and traces of fire here. It was obvious that someone had lived here. An old man said in a deep voice. These people were the joint forces of the Tai dynasty, the Tang family, and the city lord's residence. At this moment, they had chased all the way here. Damn it, we were still one step too late. A general of the city lord's residence gritted his teeth with an unwilling expression. It seemed that the other party hadn't been gone for long. Mr. Park. Everyone looked at the young man in white. The young man narrowed his eyes and grabbed the aura around him. Then, he pinched his fingers and calculated. Soon, he revealed a cold smile. Don't worry, he won't be able to escape. This time, I can clearly lock onto him. Thank you, Mr. Park. The few powerhouses were overjoyed. Then, the group flew into the distance. In the void, the black earth flew quickly. Lin Xian turned off all the functions and maintained the flying state. This was because he couldn't afford it. However, if it was just flying, he could still bear it. Inside the black earth, Lin Xian sat cross-legged and silently cultivated. In front, Xiaxingchen and the little white monkey were playing, while the crimson dragon was studying a new formation. However, at this moment, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. His eyelids were twitching violently, and there were even golden runes floating out of his eyes. What's going on? Seeing this, the crimson dragon next to him also turned its head. I don't know, but it feels uneasy. Lin Xian also frowned. This had never happened with the heavenly secret divine eyes before. What happened? Could it be that there was a problem with the heavenly secret divine eyes? Chapter 23:34. After all, these eyes were not his, but a gift from someone else, although he felt that they had completely fused. However, he still did not know if they had truly fused or not. Now that something like this had happened, Lin Xian could not help but be suspicious. In the distance, He-Tu also floated over. He looked at the golden runes and said, I once heard that the heavenly secret divine eyes are very mysterious and seems to be able to warn you. Are you being targeted by someone? It's possible. The dark red divine dragon also said that the people of the Tang clan would not let this matter rest. After all, their family had invincible experts. Moreover, the Tai dynasty and the war tribe would probably chase after them. Lin Xian also frowned. It seemed that it was really a warning. He did not expect the heavenly secret divine eyes to have such a function. Why did he not notice it before? Indeed, he had been hunted down many times in the past and was almost killed by the assassins of hell. At that time, the heavenly secret divine eyes did not warn him in advance. What was going on? He still could not figure it out? He realized that this pair of eyes was too mysterious, as if there were endless mysteries waiting for him to discover. He-Tu changed direction. Lin Xian said. He-Tu controlled the spirit ship and changed direction, flying in another direction. Sure enough, after a period of time, the light in Lin Xian's eyes disappeared. That feeling of uneasiness also disappeared. This made Lin Xian breathe a sigh of relief. Behind them, in an extremely far place, a group of people flew quickly. Among them, the young man sneered and changed direction. Could it be that the other party had noticed? What was going on? Could it be that the kid wanted to escape? The surrounding experts were also worried. The young man in white sneered. Don't worry, he will definitely not be able to escape from my hands. As he spoke, he pinched his fingers and deduced. Mysterious Tao runes appeared around him, covering the void. It was very profound. It made people feel dizzy just by looking at it. Over here. Not long after, the young man in white opened his eyes. Boom boom. The huge spirit ship under their feet was also flying quickly. In front. In the black earth, Lin Xian's heart beat wildly again, and that uneasy feeling appeared again. At the same time, mysterious runes flashed in his eyes. What's going on? Why is this feeling coming again? Lin Xian frowned. He felt like he was being watched. He told Crimson Shinong and He Tu about this feeling again. The two of them were also very confused after hearing it. Oh no, looks like we've been targeted. Dark Red Shinong angrily slapped his dragon claw. Being targeted? What did that mean? Aren't we being hunted? No, it's different. He Tu also explained. It seems that this time, someone used the great deduction technique to directly lock onto your position. This was different from a blind pursuit. This time, they're heading straight for you. Great deduction technique. Lock onto the position? Lin Xian was shocked. This was the first time he had heard of such a thing. No wonder he had such an uneasy feeling. No wonder his heavenly secret divine eyes would send out such an unusual warning. Damn it, who is it? Tang family? City Lord's mansion? Or the Tai dynasty? Lin Xian frowned. No matter who it would probably be a fierce battle. So in the next moment, he changed his position again. And from then on, Lin Xian kept changing his position every once in a while. Every time he changed his position, his uneasy feeling would disappear. But not long after, the uneasy feeling would appear again. Obviously, the other party had locked onto him again and again. Damn it. Seeing this, Lin Xian's face darkened. He didn't expect the other party to be a master who could lock onto his position so clearly. In the next moment, he asked in a low voice, "Can you erase our tracks? For example, hiding our presence or setting up a formation that isolates everything." It's useless. The Crimson Dragon shrugged and said helplessly, "This deduction technique is very mysterious. Even if the presence is isolated, he can still find us. It seems to be related to the heavenly Tao of fate. In short, it's very mysterious." Indeed, He Tu also said, this kind of diviner is very rare. Their honorable status is no less than that of a seeker spirit master. The more famous ones are the Astrology Pavilion and the Divination Sect. It was just that he didn't know which clan's expert had made a move this time. The Astrology Pavilion? The Divination Sect? Lin Xian frowned. In the next moment, he didn't give up and sealed his presence. He even directly activated the Black Earth's formation to isolate everything. However, the sense of danger did not disappear. Obviously, the Crimson Dragon and He Tu were right. Speed up. Lin Xian had no choice but to grit his teeth and speed up the Black Earth. However, it was obvious that the people behind them were prepared and also sped up. Finally, the gap between the two sides was getting closer and closer, and Lin Xian's uneasy feeling was getting stronger and stronger. On the 11th day, Lin Xian finally sensed a gigantic spirit vessel behind him that was charging towards him at high speed. Humph! He snorted coldly and stood up. Since he couldn't avoid it, he would fight. Cultivators like us don't fear a battle. He took out the ancient Dragon Abyss sword. Haha, Ben Huang will get the first kill this time. The Crimson Dragon also stood up. Xingqian, play here with Xiaobai. Don't go out. Oh, Xingqian nodded. Big brother Lin, be careful. Then, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon left the Black Earth in a flash. He Tu also kept shrinking and turned into an earring, hanging on Lin Xian's ear. When Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon appeared, the huge spirit ship behind them also stopped and floated in the void. On the spirit ship, there were many people. Not only that, this was the first spirit ship. Behind it, there were 3 other spirit ships. In addition, there were all kinds of birds and beasts around. It was very terrifying. On those beasts, there were people standing. Each of them was murderous and had piercingly cold gazes. Their gazes were all fixed on Lin Xian. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the void in front of them shattered. It couldn't withstand the terrifying pressure at all. You're that Lin Xian? Many elders shouted coldly. On the other side, the martial artists in black armor roared. Kneel down and accept your death. On the spirit ship, General Xian Ying was wearing armor and looking forward. Kid, I finally caught you. Do you have any last words? Hurry up and stay. Cold voices resounded one after another, piercing through the 9 heavens like swords of murder. Countless figures appeared around them. They were murderous and completely surrounded Lin Xian. At the same time, angry roars sounded. How dare you kill our young master? Today is the day you die. Do you think you can kill me with just the likes of you? Terrifying sound waves reverberated. In an instant, the beasts around Lin Xian exploded. The powerful force enveloped all the martial artists on the back of the beasts. Soon, screams of agony could be heard. Chapter 23:35. In an instant, nearly 100 warriors turned into blood mist and scattered in the air. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the remaining people felt their scalps go numb. Who the hell is he? With a roar, he killed more than 100 warriors. This was too terrifying. They were shocked. Humph! Kid, don't be so arrogant. Today is the day you die. On the spiritual boat, the powerhouse of the Tai dynasty shouted coldly. On the other side, the people of the city lord's mansion emitted a terrifying murderous aura. The warriors of the Tang family sneered. With the 3 superpowers taking the lead, the remaining families also settled down. That's right. This time, there were thousands of soldiers and horses. Even a peerless almighty would not be able to escape. It could be said that the other party would definitely die. If you want to kill me, you have to pay the price. Who wants to go first? Lin Xian stood in the void and looked around. He emitted a terrifying murderous aura that spread for thousands of miles. I'll kill you. A young man walked out. He was wearing a blue armor that shone like stars. He was a peerless genius from the city lord's mansion. He stood out with a long spear in his hand and snorted coldly. Kid, I know there's a mysterious powerhouse behind you. Otherwise, it's impossible for you to kill the 4 demons of Julie. Since the powerhouse behind you won't make a move, you alone won't be enough. Today, I'll kill you to avenge my brother. It turned out that he was the elder brother of young Master Qin Shan. His name was Qin Yu. At this moment, he stood in the void, looking valiant. The blue armor on his body shone brightly like the stars in the sky. The blue star spear in his hand was emitting a cold light. Not enough? Lin Xian glanced at him with a disdainful smile. How dare a top almighty challenge him? He was courting death. Moreover, from the words of these people, he could tell that they did not think that he had killed the 4 demons of Julie. They all thought that there was a terrifying and mysterious force behind him. Well, let these people be confused. He would teach these people a painful lesson. Brat, you're courting death. Seeing that he was being looked down upon, Qin Yu roared in anger. He lifted his spear, and the terrifying spear transformed into a river of stars that rapidly surged through the air towards Lin Xian. Many people cried out in surprise because Qin Yu's strength was too strong. At such a young age, he had already surpassed many of the older generation. It could be said that he was an incomparably terrifying genius. Humph! He was overestimating himself. Lin Xian sneered. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Then, he clenched his fist and punched out. Black flames burned. His fist was like a black sun. It surged out and illuminated the surroundings. Boom! With a loud bang, the Milky Way in the sky split open, turning into spiritual chi and dissipating in all directions. As for the black fist, it was not damaged in the slightest. It continued to rapidly charge forward. In the blink of an eye, he arrived before Qin Yu. Damn it! How could he be so strong? Qin Yu's expression changed. He felt a strong sense of danger. Previously, he did not believe that the other party was powerful because everything was just a legend. No matter how strong the other party was, it was impossible to kill a peerless almighty. As long as the other party was not a peerless almighty, he had the confidence to kill the other party. But now, it seemed that it was not the case. The other party's strength far exceeded his. He could even shatter his attack with one punch. Damn it, I don't believe it. Qin Yu shouted angrily. He did not dare to believe it. Endless light appeared on his body, preparing to use his strongest attack. Sky-splitting divine spear. A spear pierced out, shattering heaven and earth. The terrifying spear light pierced through the 9 heavens, causing the surrounding people to feel a chill down their spines. One could imagine how terrifying this spear was. However, it was a pity that this spear only pierced an afterimage. Lin Xian relied on his superb speed to dodge instantly. In an instant, he appeared behind the other party. Is this all you've got? Too weak. With your little strength, you still dare to come and kill me? Cultivate for another 1,000 years. A cold voice sounded behind Qianyu. Immediately, Qianyu's body stiffened, and a strong sense of horror appeared in his eyes. Damn it! How could the other party's speed be so fast? He did not react at all. At the next moment, he roared angrily and attacked with a backhand. Boom crack. However, he started to scream miserably. The reason for that was because his arm had been directly broken by his opponent. Ah, uncle, save me! Qianyu roared crazily, his eyes full of horror. At this moment, he no longer dared to act tough and only wanted to escape. Damn it! Let my nephew go. In the distance, on a spirit boat, a middle-aged man roared. He raised his hand and struck out a red cloud of fire, which swept over here, wanting to save Qianyu. Save Qianyu? Stop dreaming. Since you came to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. Lin Xian's arm shook, and suddenly, Qianyu in front of him directly exploded and turned into a blood mist. He waved his sleeve, and the blood mist in the sky instantly drifted away. Looking at this scene, everyone was stunned. They could not believe that a peerless genius was killed in one move just like that. God, who can tell me? What the hell is going on? How could this kid's strength be so powerful? Looking at this scene, the surrounding people were about to go crazy. The middle-aged man from the city lord's mansion roared crazily. He did not expect that the genius on their side would be killed in an instant by the other party. How could he endure this? How was he going to explain it when he returned? So with a roar, he attacked crazily. The fiery clouds in the sky surged over overwhelmingly. Boom, boom, boom. The void shattered in an instant, and the terrifying flames with extremely high temperature made everyone feel hot. They even felt like they were being burned. Humph. Lin Xian snorted coldly and did not dodge at all. At the next moment, he raised his hand and struck out a blue palm, which instantly flew out and collided with the other party. There was an explosion of energy that blotted out the sky. The sky was frozen, and the terrifying fiery clouds were frozen in an instant. Not only that, the middle-aged man on the opposite side vomited a large mouthful of blood. Countless frost on his body instantly disappeared, and the qi and blood in his body were frozen. Damn it! How could he be so strong? The middle-aged man vomited a large mouthful of blood, and his face was full of shock. In just one move, he was seriously injured. He was so terrified that he did not dare to attack again. Seeing this scene, the others were terrified again. Who the hell was this person? He was too terrifying. However, on the spirit boat, General Xian Ying snorted coldly. He waved his hand, and a cold voice sounded. Everyone, listen to my order. Kill. Attack together. He could not fight against everyone. Yes. The powerhouses from the Tai dynasty shouted angrily, and then rushed forward together. Kill him. Avenge our clan's powerhouse. The elders from the Tang family also shouted angrily. Illusory images of flying snakes appeared on their bodies, roaring in all directions. The sky was full of divine abilities, and they attacked this side. The people from the city lord's mansion were also full of killing intent. One of their young geniuses had died in front of them, so how could they not go crazy? Therefore, they attacked mercilessly. Chapter 23:36. With the 3 major forces attacking, the surrounding family members no longer hesitated. They roared angrily and attacked together. Boom, boom. Up in the sky, on the ground, in all directions, there were terrifying energy waves that completely enveloped the entire sky. Ruzalong, do it. Don't hold back, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Armor appeared on his body, and the ice goddess statue also appeared to protect him. Above his head, the dragon's sword realm fluctuated. Under his feet, the demon-slaying sword formation quickly recovered. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand kept swinging. Facing so many experts, Lin Xian did not dare to be careless. On the other side, the crimson dragon was also roaring angrily. His body suddenly expanded, transforming into a divine dragon that was hundreds of feet long. He bared his fangs and brandished his claws in the air. He opened his mouth and spat out balls of dragon flames. Not only that, the sky was filled with dark clouds. Lightning, strong winds, and explosive rain poured down. Anyone who was touched by the flames vomited large mouthfuls of blood and was severely injured. The two of them attacked with all their might. It was truly terrifying. For a time, the energy that was rushing in from all directions was shattered quite a bit. Large groups of warriors vomited blood and flew backward. The weaker ones exploded or were split in half. In short, it was very miserable. The sky was instantly dyed red. The blood was absorbed by the demon-slaying sword formation under his feet. Then, it evolved into demonic beasts that roared ferociously. Damn it, he was too powerful. Many people were terrified. However, the attack did not dissipate. Because this time, the Tai dynasty had mobilized all their forces to capture the other party. They had many experts. Sure enough, in the crowd, an old man snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, a 5-colored rainbow fell from the sky. The rainbow was very dreamy. It turned into a light screen and enveloped Lin Xian. It was the 5-colored divine red. Many people exclaimed. However, an old man shouted coldly. No, that was the tail of the 5-colored divine bird. He did not expect that it would be refined into a treasure. It was absolutely terrifying. The 5-colored divine bird was a kind of exotic beast in ancient times. It was very terrifying. The 5-colored feathers on his body were excellent materials for refining weapons. He did not expect that it would be refined successfully. Needless to say, the one who attacked was definitely a terrifying expert from the Tai dynasty. Sure enough, the 5-colored rainbow was extremely terrifying. It was like a bottle of heavenly sabers that could slash through everything. Humph, let's see how you're going to block this. The old man sneered. This 5-colored rainbow was a treasure that he had refined for more than 800 years. Its power was extremely terrifying. Thinking about it, the other party would definitely not be able to escape. Whoosh! Lin Xian naturally felt the power of the 5-colored rainbow from the energy that filled the sky. In the next moment, his feet flashed, and his speed suddenly exploded, leaving the place in an instant. Crack! The original void was directly shattered, and Lin Xian appeared in another place. At the same time, he raised his hand and shot out the power of ice and fire, forming the Hell's Ice Lotus and flying to the left. Boom! Boom! The Hell's Ice Lotus blasted onto the 5-colored rainbow, creating a shocking explosion. The 5-colored rainbow was enveloped by the power of ice and fire and instantly shattered. As for that old man, he vomited blood and was sent flying. His face was filled with disbelief. Damn it, I don't believe it. Die for me. At this moment, another person also charged over. He was an elder of the Tang family. He held a soaring snake walking stick in his hand. At this moment, it suddenly enlarged to a few thousand meters long. It looked like a real demonic beast that pounced from the sky. Its hideous head emitted a fierce light, and its mouth spewed poisonous gas that filled the sky, completely sealing the surroundings. As soon as the poisonous gas appeared, the other people's faces changed. They all retreated and dared not go forward. They were afraid of being affected by the poisonous gas. Lin Xian also frowned. The poisonous gas was very strong, and he must not let it get close. Therefore, in the next moment, 108,000 sword chi rushed out of his body, forming a terrifying sword screen in front of him. At the same time, he waved his hand. The terrifying hell's fire surged out and burned fiercely, wanting to burn all the poisonous gas in the sky. Whoosh! Whoosh! The terrifying poisonous gas was burned in an instant, and the surroundings returned to normal. Damn it! How's that possible? How can he be so valiant? The elder of the Tang family was also shocked. He did not expect that even their soaring snake poisonous gas could not do anything to him. Whoosh! Nevertheless, Lin Xian's crisis was not resolved because there were too many people around him, and there were too many powerhouses. Sure enough, a cold light emerged from behind him. Like a shooting star, it quickly streaked across the void. It was a powerhouse from the governor's residence. At this moment, he seized the opportunity to launch a fatal attack. He quickly blasted toward the middle of Lin Xian's back. If Yangming was hit, he would definitely be pierced through and might even be killed in one blow. Sensing the terrifying aura behind him, Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the sword chi on his body became more dazzling. The terrifying sword light formed the shadow of a dragon, roaring in all directions as if a real dragon had been reborn. Seeing this, the surrounding people were shocked. A real dragon? No, it's not. It's just a real shadow. An elder of the Tai dynasty said coldly. Even so, it was still terrifying. After Lin Xian was enveloped by the dragon shadow, he suddenly turned around and grabbed out with his left hand like a dragon's claw. Buzz. In the next moment, amidst the endless light, he grabbed a blue spear. This spear naturally belonged to the powerhouse from the governor's residence. He originally wanted to launch a sneak attack. However, he did not expect to be discovered by Yangming. Moreover, he was caught by Yangming. Damn it! Let go! The powerhouse roared and shook his arms, trying to shatter Lin Xian's palm. However, in the next moment, he screamed in pain. Because Lin Xian held the blue spear in his left hand and waved the ancient dragon abyss sword with his right hand, directly cutting the spear in half. Lin Xian held the spearhead and waved it hard, instantly piercing into the powerhouse's body. Poof! The powerhouse vomited blood crazily and flew backward like a shooting star. Who else? If you're not afraid of death, come at me. Lin Xian held the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon was also happily fighting with a group of martial artists. The sky was filled with energy and lightning, dancing wildly. I'll fight. Look at Bun Huang's overlord fist. Bang, bang, bang. The fist shadows waved, and in an instant, more than 10 figures were sent flying. Clang, clang, clang. Countless swords and sabers slashed on the Crimson Dragon's body, causing sparks to fly. The Crimson Dragon grimaced in pain and rolled in the air. However, its hard dragon scales blocked all the swords and sabers and did not shatter. However, the pain still made An Hong curse loudly. Damn it! How dare you sneak attack Bin Huang? Let's see if Bin Huang doesn't kick you to death. Kick, 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 kick. It kept waving its claws, and the heads of the surrounding 15 or 16 kings were instantly crushed. Damn it! This guy is too strong. Hurry up and come. We have to subdue him. Many people charged towards the Crimson Dragon again. Lin Xian's side was also surrounded by countless powerhouses again. Are you competing in numbers? The Crimson Dragon was furious. It opened its mouth and spat out array after array. Chapter 23:37. Are you trying to compete in numbers? The Crimson Dragon was furious. It opened its mouth and spat out formations one after another. Buzz. Terrifying sword chi surged into the sky. Endless fireballs, frost, and lightning danced in the air. In an instant, hundreds of martial artists were enveloped and screamed in pain. How could one not prepare a few more formations when traveling in the martial world? The dark red divine dragon carried a powerful killing array with it at all times in case of an emergency. Now was the time to use them. Elder, make your move. At this moment, many people on the Tang family's spirit boat shouted angrily. At this moment, an old figure stood up. His face had turned into orange peel, and he looked very old. He looked like a skeleton. With every step he took, he would sway as if he would be blown away by the wind at any time. At this moment, everyone looked at him with respect. This was because this was an extremely ancient elder who was extremely frightening. He had lived for about 3,000 years and was about to become a living fossil. At this moment, he looked ahead and frowned. A sharp light burst out from his sunken eyes like 2 divine lamps. If we don't get rid of this kid, the Tang family won't be at ease, the elder said coldly. Following that, the aura on his body suddenly burst out as if a peerless demon king had awakened. Buzz. With a wave of his sleeve, a snake's skin flew out and turned into a mountain that pressed forward. Seeing this, many people exclaimed again and retreated. They did not dare to fight Lin Xian in close combat anymore because the void around Lin Xian shattered again. The powerful pressure made their hearts tremble. It was the flying serpent king's skin. It was estimated to be at least 5,000 years old. This was a great weapon of mass destruction. It contained lethal poison. Even a peerless powerhouse would not be able to withstand a little of it. Hearing this, many people hurriedly lit up and retreated. What a joke. They did not dare to touch such a terrifying poison. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the Vine King's snake that was quickly descending from the sky. He did not dodge. Instead, he waited quietly. When it was only 100 meters away from him, he made his move. The ancient dragon abyss sword slashed forward. You overestimate yourself. Go to hell. The elder from the Tang family shouted coldly. His eyes were full of mockery. He did not expect the other party to be so arrogant. Instead of dodging, he directly confronted his vine snake king. Wasn't this courting death? Could it be that the other party thought he could destroy the snakeskin? One had to know that this was left behind by a 5,000-year-old peerless great demon. Back then, the Tang Serpent King had almost stepped into the realm of an invincible demon king. Although it failed in the end, its skin was extremely tough. Perhaps even a peerless almighty would not be able to break it. His opponent was just a brat, yet he dared to be so arrogant as to resist his treasure head-on. He was simply courting death. Boom, boom. In the sky, snakeskin mercilessly descended. On it, streaks of light flickered, and a purple demonic aura emanated from it. It was an extremely terrifying poison, and a single drop was enough to kill a powerful being. If one was wrapped in the soaring Serpent King's skin, anyone below the level of king would die without a doubt. However, what happened this time far exceeded everyone's expectations. The ancient dragon abyss sword in Lin Xian's hand emitted a biting cold sword light. The terrifying sword chi soared into the sky. It made one's heart tremble. Then, the dragon source ancient sword landed on the snakeskin. The soaring Serpent King's demonic aura surrounded it as it tried to corrode the opponent's treasure sword. However, the sword chi on the ancient sword was extremely cold. In an instant, the purple poisonous aura was completely destroyed. What? How can the poisonous aura be destroyed? That treasure sword is fine. How is this possible? What kind of treasure sword is that? Even a top-grade treasure weapon can't withstand the corrosion of this poison. These people were stunned. The Tang family's martial artists were even more terrified. The elder also frowned. There was something wrong with that treasure sword. In an instant, he saw the crux of the problem. Snatch his treasure sword. It's a supreme treasure sword. The Tang family's elder shouted angrily. Hearing this, many people's eyes lit up. The Tang family's martial artists moved out together. Now that the Tang family's ancient sword was blocked by the soaring Serpent King, the opponent's strength should be greatly reduced. As long as they killed the opponent, the ancient sword would be theirs. At this moment, not only the Tang family, but the Tai dynasty, the governor's residence, and the people from the surrounding families also moved out. Naturally, they could tell that the ancient sword was definitely powerful. It had probably surpassed an Earth-grade treasure sword. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, 3,000 experts came around Lin Xian. Terrifying light divine arts rained down on Lin Xian. They wanted to shatter Lin Xian. Go to hell, brat. These people sneered sinisterly. A bunch of ants. How dare you have designs on my treasure sword? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Then, the goddess of ice on his body quickly flapped its wings. A terrifying power of ice instantly surged out. Crack, crack, crack. The 3,000 powerhouses were instantly frozen. Oomph. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a punch, the ice cubes quickly shattered. The 3,000 powerhouses were torn apart. Swoosh. Seeing this scene, the cultivators who wanted to charge forward stopped in their tracks. Their faces were filled with horror. Damn it, what's going on? He's still so powerful without the treasure sword. They realized that they were wrong. The opponent's strength did not only rely on the terrifying treasure sword. Retreat. Many people felt that things were not going well and frantically retreated. Lin Xian sneered. Don't you think it's too late to leave now? He flicked his finger, and a dragon-shaped sword wave spread out in all directions with him as the center. Puff, puff, puff. This sword wave was too fierce. It carried the power of the great dragon sword soul and was incomparably sharp. The void instantly shattered, and those martial artists were instantly affected. Puff. They were split in half and fell from the sky. In an instant, more than 8,000 martial artists were killed. Old man, it's your turn now. After dealing with those people around him, Lin Xian looked at the skinny old man in the distance again. He could be considered a living fossil. He was more than 3,000 years old, and whether it was his combat experience or combat awareness, he was extremely terrifying. How could such a person not be angry when he was looked down upon by a brat? Of course, the anger of a living fossil was different from the anger of an ordinary person. He would not rush forward impulsively. He wanted to analyze the opponent's weakness and take a targeted killing move. Oomph! The living fossil of the Tang family snorted and waved the snake-headed walking stick in his hand. Instantly, the Rattan King's snake in the sky shone brightly and emitted a terrifying aura. The snakeskin seemed to have come alive and instantly enveloped the ancient dragon abyss sword, completely binding it. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The ancient sword was bound in the sky and left Lin Xian's hand. Seeing this scene, everyone laughed crazily. Ha 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 ha. Great, brat. Let's see what you can do without the treasure sword. Kneel and wait for your death. How dare you fight against the living fossil of the Tang family? You're courting death. The Tang family's martial artist sneered. Chapter 23:38. How dare you fight against the Tang family's living fossil? You're courting death. The Tang family's martial artist sneered. General Xianying and the others also snorted when they saw this. The corners of their mouths curled up into a sneer. It seemed that joining forces with the Nine Li dynasty's experts and clans was the right choice. However, the other party was too arrogant. Not long after coming to the Nine Li dynasty, he offended countless big families. This time, he was definitely dead. Looking at the bound ancient dragon abyss sword above, Lin Xian was not anxious or angry. This was because he knew that the ancient dragon abyss sword was a heaven-grade treasure sword. Its power was beyond their imagination. No matter how powerful the Tang King snake skin was, it could not damage the ancient dragon source sword. Therefore, he was not in a hurry to retrieve the sword. He decided to play with these people. Don't these people think that I'm only relying on the treasure sword? Fine. I'll kill them with my bare hands. I'll let them know my true strength. Idiots. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon looked over while fighting and then snorted in disdain. He was aware of Lin Xian's strength. How dare these people look down on him? They must be courting death. Sure enough, in the next moment, those people screamed. This was because Lin Xian did not snatch the ancient dragon abyss sword. Instead, he charged forward. His target was the Tang family's spirit boat. Courting death. Seeing that the other party was charging directly at them, the martial artists on the spirit boat were all furious. The illusory Tang snake behind them quickly soared into the sky, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws as it charged forward. TSK, TSK, bang bang. In an instant, the void in front of them exploded. However, it was useless. Lin Xian waved his hand, grabbed these illusory figures, and rubbed them with force. Boom! The terrifying illusory Tang snake was directly torn into two. This scene was too terrifying. It was too shocking. Those who were torn into pieces vomited blood crazily. Many of them directly split open. I'm dead meat? I'm only relying on the treasure sword? Lin Xian sneered. As he spoke, he opened and closed his fists, bombarding the surroundings. At this moment, he had already charged onto the spirit boat and was surrounded by the Tang family's martial artists. Everything that was hit by the fist was smashed apart and turned into a bloody mist. At the spur of the moment, hundreds of Tang family's martial artists were killed. Damn it, kill him. I must kill him. The eyes of the Tang clan's warriors turned red while the living fossil snorted coldly. Who would have thought that the other party would still be so domineering even without a sword? However, The other party was truly courting death by coming to their spirit vessel. In the next moment, the snake-headed walking stick in his hand swayed gently, and countless array formations formed on the spirit boat. Buzz, 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 the chains danced in the air and instantly wrapped around Lin Xian. Lin Xian's arms, limbs, and head were all bound and dropped to the ground. This is great. The kings of the Ting family heaved a sigh of relief and cheered. Mighty ancestor, was this the living fossil of the Ting clan? It was indeed powerful. When the other king almighty saw this, they were also extremely shocked. Such a powerful genius had been subdued in an instant. Kill him. The Tang clan's martial artists surrounded them again. They stood below and looked up at Lin Xian, who was hanging in the air, and roared ferociously. Wouldn't killing him be letting him off too easily? Don't worry, I'll make him suffer a fate worse than death. The living fossil of the Tang clan snorted coldly. Let me try first. A young man stood out. He was also a genius of the Tang clan. His face was originally filled with fear, but when he saw that the other party was captured, a sinister smile appeared on his face. In the next moment, he raised his hand and shot out countless lightning bolts that struck Lin Xian's body. Instantly, energy exploded, and a sea of lightning engulfed the area in front of him. Would he be killed? Don't worry, with the living fossil of the Tang clan, that brat would definitely not die. However, he would inevitably be tortured for a while. It would probably be difficult for him to escape for the rest of his life. He asked for it. How dare he kill so many geniuses and offend so many clans? He'll definitely die. The people around them shouted coldly. The people from the governor's residence also flashed and prepared to join in the torture. On the other hand, the people from the Tai dynasty said, "General, should we snatch him?" General Xianying narrowed his eyes. Don't panic, that brat won't die for the time being. Let these people vent their anger first. When they're half dead, we'll ask for him. Good idea, but I can't help but want to try. On the Tai dynasty's side, many people also rushed over. They also wanted to torture the other party. On the other battlefield, the Crimson Dragon was surrounded by countless figures and was in an intense battle. Humph, an old man sneered. Why are you still struggling? Your companions have been locked up. I advise you to surrender obediently and join the Tang clan. The Tang clan can let you be our guardian beast. Otherwise, you'll only end up dead. Yes, surrender to the governor's residence and we can spare your life. Follow the Tai dynasty and you can become an invincible demon king. However, if you dare to go against us, you'll end up like that brat. A fate worse than death. Cold shouts were heard. TSK, facing this threat, the Crimson Dragon sneered disdainfully. He did not believe that Lin Xian was really captured. After all, Lin Xian had so many trump cards that it was definitely beyond everyone's expectations. Just you wait, these people will soon regret it. Therefore, in the next moment, the Crimson Dragon sneered. What, you still want to threaten Bin Huang? I advise you to quickly kneel down obediently and be Bin Huang's human pets. If you perform well, Bin Huang will reward you with 1 or 2 great abilities of the Dragon Clan and let you soar. Otherwise, I'll turn you into barbecue now. You're courting death. Hearing this, the surrounding powerhouses and mighty figures roared angrily and intensified their attacks. However, the Crimson Dragon had many formations, and the Crimson Dragon was extremely terrifying. Therefore, for a moment, no one could do anything. At this moment, on the other side, where Lin Xian was, the sea of lightning slowly disappeared. As Lin Xian was tied up in chains and hung in midair, the warriors of the Tang family, Tai dynasty, City Lord's mansion, and the surrounding large families all rushed over. As if they had gone crazy, they attacked without any regard for their lives. All kinds of fireballs, lightning, and torrential rain, saber light, and sword shadows. In short, they used everything they could to attack. In an instant, the void where Lin Xian was directly shattered. Terrifying cracks spread in all directions. Seeing this scene, many people stopped attacking and revealed sinister smiles. They wanted to see how half-dead the other party was. Therefore, they waited patiently. The light in front of them finally dissipated, and gradually, a figure was revealed. However, in the next moment, these people were all stunned. as if they had been petrified. Even the living fossil elder of the Tang family narrowed his eyes. In the distance, General Xianying and the others frowned. Chapter 23:39. Even the living fossil elder from the Tang family narrowed his eyes. In the distance, General Xianying and the others frowned. This was because the scene in front of them was different from what they had imagined. The other party wasn't half dead at all. He wasn't even injured at all. That's right, he wasn't injured. They rubbed their eyes hard. When they looked again, many people's eyes were bursting with light, as if they wanted to pierce through the void. However, they realized that the scene in front of them was really happening. Lin Xian was still bound by the chains, but he wasn't injured at all. Those terrifying attacks didn't cause any harm to him at all. Damn it, how is this possible? No, this can't be real. I must have been hit by an illusion. Many people slapped themselves crazily, trying to break free from the illusion. However, all their actions were in vain. No matter what they did, they realized that Lin Xian wasn't injured at all. Damn it, I don't believe it. These people roared crazily and attacked again. Terrifying energy surged out, completely exploding the area in front of them. A black hole spread out in all directions as if it wanted to devour everything. Previously, they were still worried and didn't dare to use their full strength. However, now that they saw this scene, they really went crazy. They couldn't care less anymore and attacked crazily. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying explosion lasted for a long time before it slowly dissipated. The light that filled the sky disappeared, and everyone looked again. Among them, many people comforted themselves. This time, the other party should be dead for sure. That's for sure. Not even a speck of dust will be left. Such a terrifying attack. With so many experts working together, I'm afraid even an almighty won't be able to block it. Who asked this kid to be so pretentious? Now, he won't even have a corpse left. Cold laughter rang out as they looked ahead. However, very soon, they were all stunned by what they saw. The smile on their faces froze, and deep fear appeared in their eyes. This was because they realized that it was the same as the previous scene. Lin Xian wasn't injured at all. No, how is this possible? How can this be? These people were crazy. They kept screaming, grabbing their hair, and their faces were full of fear. Although they were powerful King Almighties, they couldn't help but tremble at this moment. This scene was simply too bizarre. Even a peerless powerhouse wouldn't be able to withstand their combined attacks. And now, the other party was bound. How did the other party block it? They could not understand. How could they know that Lin Xian had summoned the great dragon sword spirit in an instant? The terrifying sword chi destroyed all the attacks. Although these people were strong and their hands were terrifying, they were not a threat to him. Damn it, how could this be? On the other side, the King Almighties who were fighting the Crimson Dragon were all terrified when they saw this scene. He looked as if he had seen a ghost. The Crimson Dragon sneered. What did you see? Do you think that you can beat him? I advise you to obediently become my human pets and become Ben Huang's cows and horses. Ben Huang is in a good mood, so he can spare your lives. Otherwise, you're really dead. Damn it, don't be so arrogant. This time, we have brought countless experts. These people gritted their teeth and comforted themselves. Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon sneered and attacked the other party again with the killing array in the sky. On the other side, there was complete silence. Countless cultivators were dumbfounded. Lin Xian, on the other hand, sneered as he watched the scene unfold before him. Why? Are you surprised? Are you shocked? Do you think you can kill me after capturing me? Do you think you can hurt me with trash like you? What a joke. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. His voice reached the ears of the surrounding people, causing their faces to turn even paler. Clang. Crack. At this moment, there was another change in front of them. Everyone's scalps went numb. Lin Xian waved his hands, and the shackles binding him directly broke apart. A series of sounds rang out, and all the chains broke and scattered on the ground. Damn it, how could this be? This time, even the living fossil of the Tang family couldn't remain calm. These chains could trap even a peerless powerhouse. How did the other party escape? He couldn't understand. Moreover, With his experience and strength, he could see that although the other party didn't have that terrifying treasured sword, the sword's aura was not weak. However, his opponent's sword aura did not weaken at all. Instead, it became even sharper. How could this be? Even if the other party was a swordsman, without a weapon, his attack power should be greatly reduced. But now, the other party's power was getting stronger and stronger. This was beyond his understanding. There must be other secrets on this kid's body. The living fossil of the Tang family instantly thought of this possibility. He guessed correctly. However, he didn't know what secrets the other party had. But he decided to capture the other party and study him carefully. The other party was too mysterious. If he could obtain the other party's secrets, his stagnant cultivation and strength might be able to reach a higher level. Thinking of this, an astonishing light appeared in his eyes. This kid is somewhat interesting. This old man has lived for thousands of years, and this is the first time I have met such an interesting youth. You are worthy of my full strength. Old man, don't act like you're some big shot. Your life and chi are about to disappear, and you still dare to fight me? Lin Xian looked forward and snorted disdainfully. How dare you be so rude to the Tang family's living fossil elder? A few reckless youths from the Tang family rushed forward and roared crazily. In their opinion, they were very safe with the living fossil elder. But in the next moment, they screamed and flew backward. Lin Xian slapped the three youths and sent them flying. The three youths' bones were shattered, and their internal organs were also ruptured. The three martial artists were directly turned into three piles of flesh and fell to the ground. Seeing this, everyone gasped and no longer dared to speak carelessly. The living fossil elder's face turned gloomy. He couldn't accept the fact that the other party was so unscrupulous and killed the Tang family's disciples. Moreover, the other party's contemptuous attitude made him even more crazy. He hadn't felt this for thousands of years. Therefore, he was really angry. Kid, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I will make you pay a painful price. The Tang family's living fossil elder shouted coldly and waved the snake-headed walking stick in his hand. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Three illusory images of flying snakes flew out from the walking stick. Each of them was 1,000 meters long. They coiled around each other and formed a powerful attack as they charged forward. The three illusory images of flying snakes were too terrifying. They seemed real, and the scales on them were lifelike like godly armors. Wherever they passed, the void would shatter. On top of that, the three flying snakes kept roaring, shattering the 9 heavens and causing one's chi and blood to surge. They're just flying snakes. They're not even comparable to horned dragons. How dare they be impudent in front of me? Lin Xian sneered in disdain. He reached out his hand and performed a lost technique. Chapter 2340. A terrifying giant hand that covered the sky rushed down from the sky. It was like a dark cloud of demonic light. It was terrifying. Humph, how foolish. Elder living fossil sneered when he saw that. This was no ordinary vine serpent phantom. Under the enhancement of his control, this soaring serpent phantom was extremely terrifying. As expected, when the three soaring serpent phantoms approached Lin Xian's green dragon palm, one of the soaring serpent phantoms suddenly opened its mouth and spat out a huge fireball into the sky. Boom! The terrifying heat wave shattered the void. All the martial artists who were watching the battle retreated frantically. They felt their bodies burning as if they were on fire. How terrifying! As expected, the combat power of a living fossil was not something they could imagine. Many of the martial artists were shocked when they saw that. Not only that, the second and third phantoms spat out storms and lightning. Terrifying energy bombarded the void, trying to tear apart the terrifying dragon-catching hand. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. The great dragon sword soul in his body circulated, causing the green dragon palm to become even more dazzling. It was as if a pair of heavenly palms were slamming down from the heavens. Boom, 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 boom. In the next moment, the energy collided with each other and produced a shocking sound. The energy swept out in all directions like raging waves. Dazzling light exploded in the sky. The violent energy gushed out like a vast ocean. Soon, the martial artist screamed. Elder living fossil's pupils constricted. He realized that the attack of the 3 soaring serpent phantoms had been shattered by the green dragon palm. Not only that, the terrifying palm continued to grab the 3 soaring serpents. If the 3 soaring serpents were caught, they would not be able to fight back. The martial artists screamed in horror when they saw that. Damn it! How could this brat's strength be so strong? Could it be that he could fight against the living fossil elder? Everyone was going crazy. Elder living fossil snorted. In the next moment, the walking stick in his hand danced quickly and drew a strange arc in the air. Mysterious runes flickered in the surroundings. Buzz. Following this action, the 3 soaring serpent phantoms in front of him changed again. Buzz. They moved their bodies quickly and whipped their huge tails forward as if they were going to wipe out an army. The void shattered in an instant, and Lin Xian felt an incomparably terrifying and heavy pressure. So valiant. He was worthy of being called a living fossil. Lin Xian was also surprised, but he wasn't too afraid. Wong. The Azure Dragon's large hand quickly waved and grabbed the 3 snake tails. Then, he swung them forcefully. Boom, boom. 3 illusions of flying serpents, each of which was 1,000 feet long, were flung out, dancing in the air. Then, it smashed into the ground. Pong! An earth-shattering sound rang out, reverberating all around. The earth split open in an instant, and dust filled the air. The 3-headed soaring serpent was smashed into the ground. This scene caused everyone's scalp to go numb, especially the warriors of the Tang clan. Their faces were filled with terror. In the distance, General Xian Ying also frowned. He was a bit impatient. He wanted to send a great army over to kill them together. But very quickly, his lips curled into a smile. This was because he noticed that the 3-headed soaring serpents were still there. They were attacked, but they didn't disappear. He figured that the living fossil probably had other tricks up his sleeve. All right, I'll let the Tang clan capture them. After that, we'll ask for them. This way, we can capture them and preserve our strength. Therefore, General Xian Ying didn't send any powerhouses out. When the others noticed this, they sighed a breath of relief. Sure enough, an attack from a living fossil couldn't be broken so easily. Young fella, this is just the beginning. I'll let you know how powerful I am. The living fossil elder said coldly. He waved the walking stick in his hand crazily, and terrifying runes danced in the sky. Terrifying energy was channeled into the flying serpents, and 3 of them charged up from the ground. Although their tails were still being grabbed by the giant hand, the 3-headed soaring serpents roared angrily. At this moment, the 3-headed soaring serpents seemed to have come back to life. Moreover, a single horn grew out of their foreheads. Claws and scales also appeared on their bodies, and they became more sturdy. What's this? What happened? They were shocked. An elder exclaimed, Heavens! Are they transforming into dragons this time? The soaring serpents were transforming into dragons. Just thinking about it was shocking. The living fossil elder's methods were indeed terrifying. In front, the 3 soaring serpents became ferocious. A single horn grew out of their foreheads, and sharp claws grew out of their abdomens. Not only that, but purple wings also appeared on their backs. As they flapped, there was a strong demonic wind. Their power was much stronger than before. Young fella, although the soaring serpent clan is a half-demon clan, sacred blood flows in our bodies. Our ancestors were related to the dragon clan. Do you think you can contend against us? The living fossil elder shouted coldly. His eyes were filled with pride. In the distance, Lin Xian was disdainful. Related to the dragons? You're too shameless. Your soaring serpent clan isn't even a horned dragon, yet you dare to claim to be related to the dragons? What a joke. Let me show you what a real dragon is. Lin Xian's sonorous voice resounded through the world. Hearing Lin Xian's words, these people didn't believe him at first. He knows dragons very well? What a joke. Our soaring serpent clan's bloodline is close to the dragons. He's just a young fella, yet he claims to know more about dragons than us? What a joke. The living fossil elder's eyes were filled with disdain. However, in the next moment, he was stunned. In fact, His eyes were filled with shock. This was because a huge chi sword from Lin Xian's body. Then, it rolled in the air and turned into a green dragon, roaring in all directions. This green dragon was 300 meters long and looked very mighty. Its dragon horns were surrounded by lightning. Its dragon scales were lifelike and flickered with incomparable light. Its huge body was filled with auspicious clouds. Its 5 claws waved gently and instantly tore through the void. Roar! A dragon's roar shook the world. The terrifying sound pierced through the 9 heavens, causing everyone's expression to change. In particular, the martial artists of the Tang clan were lying on the ground with faces full of horror. They felt a terrifying pressure suppressing their bloodline. Dragon! It's really a dragon. The living fossil elder of the Tang clan was also shocked. He didn't expect the giant dragon's shadow to be so real. In fact, the dragons might made him tremble unconsciously. Roar! 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 As soon as Lin Xian's dragon shadow appeared, the 3-headed soaring serpents below also kept roaring with uneasiness on their faces. It was obvious that they felt a huge threat and strong suppression. They're just soaring serpents. How dare they compete in front of a real dragon? Lin Xian scoffed coldly. Then, he waved his arm, and the terrifying giant dragon's shadow surged downward. Chapter 23:41. The dragon and the 3 serpents fought, and terrifying energy surged in all directions. Shocking light surged, and the entire sky trembled. Heavy rain fell from the sky. Strong winds swept, thunder rumbled, and lightning flashed. All kinds of terrifying scenes appeared as if the world was about to be destroyed. The martial artists on the surrounding spiritual boats and warships trembled when they saw this, and they kept retreating. General Xianying and the others frowned. They did not expect the dragon that Lin Xian summoned to be so terrifying. It did not feel like an illusion at all. It was a real divine beast. Boom, boom, boom. After a fierce battle, the 3 flying serpents wailed and split open, turning into spiritual chi and dissipating. What? The flying serpents were killed. Everyone exclaimed. The Tang family's living fossil elder had a ghastly look on his face. He was originally full of confidence and even looked down on the other party's ability. Now, he was the one who was at a disadvantage. He, a living fossil, was suppressed by a young brat. Old man, I told you, you're no match for me in terms of ability. Lin Xian stood on the divine dragon and looked down at the other party. He waved his hand, and the illusory true dragon under his feet charged over again. This time, his target was the living fossil elder. Boom! The illusory dragon flew quickly in the sky, making rumbling sounds. With thunderclouds in the sky, it arrived above the spiritual boat in an instant. Roar! With a furious roar, the illusory dragon opened its bloody mouth and spat out black flames that surged downward. This was hellfire, and it instantly surged downward. Soon, it arrived above the spiritual boat. If the flames fell, the entire spiritual boat and the thousands of martial artists on it would probably be killed. The Tang family's martial artists were terrified. They retreated frantically and left the spiritual boat. On the other hand, the living fossil elder's face was cold as he looked up at the sky. Subsequently, he stretched out his old palm and slapped in front of him. Although his palm was old, it emitted a terrifying aura. It was like an immemorial mountain that rampaged in the sky and shattered the void. Boom! The palm shattered the hellfire that filled the sky, forming a terrifying crack in the void. A huge black hole appeared in the sky, and all of the hellfire was sucked in. Lin Xian snorted when he saw that his opponent had broken through the hellfire so quickly. In the next moment, he continued to control the terrifying true dragon above him. Once again, it spat out sea god ice that filled the sky. Boundless power of frost spread out in all directions, freezing everything in the area. Boom! Boom! Ka. The huge palm was also frozen in the sky. Then, it shattered into pieces and exploded. The living fossil elder retracted his palm, his expression gloomy. Although he had broken his opponent's divine ability, his opponent's second divine ability had also broken his palm. He found it hard to believe. Humph! His eyes were cold and gloomy. As his palms moved, the ground beneath him split open. Countless rocks tumbled and quickly assembled in the sky, forming a huge rock sword that was thousands of meters long. He grabbed it with his withered hand and slashed it forward. This scene was too terrifying. It was as if the living rock had grabbed the entire earth. The stone sword was formed from the essence of the earth. It was extremely heavy. Although it was only 1,000 meters long, it was as if the entire earth was being rotated. The void instantly shattered, and the ice that filled the sky also shattered with a loud rumble. However, although the sea god ice cracked, the power of ice and fire quickly emerged again. The two powers merged perfectly, forming an even more terrifying shock wave. The fire spark stone elder wielded the huge rock, carrying the endless power of earth to fight. After 30 fierce collisions, countless cracks appeared in the sky, and countless lightning bolts fell. Then, the two disappeared in the void at the same time. Damn it, this kid is too terrifying. He was actually able to fight evenly with an elder who was at the level of a cremation stone master. The surrounding people were extremely shocked. However, some people's expressions were even uglier. That's not right. The huge dragon in the sky is still there. If this continues, is this kid going to suppress the fire spark stone? Everyone swallowed their saliva. As for the living fossil elder, his expression was gloomy. Since when could he be suppressed by a kid in his 20s? More importantly, he didn't even use his full strength. This was what he was relying on. In the next moment, he said coldly, "Kid, I have to admit that you are very strong. Even I am surprised. Unfortunately, provoking the Tang family will be your biggest mistake. Your illusory giant dragon is very real and powerful. However, it's only an illusory figure. In front of a real demon king, it won't be able to withstand a single blow." What did he mean? What did he mean? The surrounding king almighties looked at each other. Could it be that the Tang family had brought a peerless demon king? Humph, old man, show us what you have. Lin Xian was fearless. You will see. The living fossil elder snorted coldly. His body suddenly released a terrifying aura, and his robe shook rapidly. A powerful force surged from his body. Subsequently, the living fossil elder bit his finger and quickly waved it in the sky. The blood danced with his hand and turned into mysterious runes one after another. Accompanied by endless energy, they formed a huge blood-colored pattern. If one looked at it from afar, they would see that the pattern was a snake head. It was extremely ferocious and lifelike. The blood-colored pattern was huge, but with the speed of a living fossil, it was completed in almost a second. In an instant, the terrifying blood-colored pattern transformed and emitted a demonic aura in the sky. What's going on? What kind of ability is this? Many people looked at this scene with fear on their faces. This was because they felt an uneasiness in their hearts. Psychic. Accompanied by the appearance of the blood-colored runes, the living fossil elder's cold voice was also heard. Following that, the huge blood-colored pattern suddenly emitted an incomparable light that covered the entire sky. Following that, a huge creature quickly crawled out of the blood-colored runes. Boom, boom, boom. The huge creature appeared, and a terrifying demonic aura spread in all directions. Accompanying it was a shocking roar. All of this was shocking. What's this? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Lin Xian also frowned because a terrifying huge snake crawled out of the blood-colored pattern in front of him. This huge snake was the same as the illusory soaring serpent from before. It had a pair of wings on its back, a single horn on its head, and purple scales all over its body. As soon as it appeared, it carried a strong demonic wind. It's the soaring serpent, everyone exclaimed. Could it be another illusory figure? No, that's not right. This aura is even more terrifying than the previous 3 illusory figures combined. Many people were shocked. However, General Xianing exclaimed, "It's not an illusory figure. It's a demon king, a real demon king." What? It's a real demon king. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect that the thing in front of them was a real demon king. It was too shocking. Chapter 2342. Lin Xian also frowned. He could naturally feel the monstrous aura emitted by the other party. Unlike the cold illusion, this was definitely a real demon king with flesh and blood. Boom! As soon as the soaring snake appeared, it spread its purple wings and charged over with powerful purple lightning. Soon, the giant dragon illusion was torn apart. Whoosh! Seeing this scene, the Tang family cultivators cheered. The living fossil also snorted. Kid, did you see that? This is my true strength. Although your illusion is powerful, in front of a real peerless demon king, it can't even withstand a single blow. Lin Xian frowned. Countless sword lights rose from his body and blocked the terrifying demonic wind. He had to admit that this living fossil was really terrifying. He could actually summon such a terrifying demon king. However, so what? Competing with demonic beasts? He was not afraid of the other party. Therefore, in the next moment, the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. You are right. A real demon king is the most powerful. However, your soaring snake is only a demonic snake. How can it be compared to a real dragon? What does this kid mean? What is he talking about? Could it be that he also wants to summon a real demonic beast? He wants to summon a dragon? Heavens! These people were all stupefied. The living fossil old man also snorted coldly. Kid, don't try to be mysterious. Do you really think you can summon one? He did not believe it at all. However, Lin Xian sneered. Is there a need to summon one? There is one right now. As he spoke, he pointed into the distance. Everyone's gaze followed Lin Xian's finger. Then, they realized. Indeed, there was a dark red flood dragon fighting in front of them. It was fighting against hundreds of almighty kings alone and was having a great time. This was definitely a real demon king. Moreover, it seemed that the other party was closer to the dragon clan than the soaring snake. In fact, they did not know that this was part of the Crimson Dragon's hidden dragon characteristics. For example, he had hidden the dragon horn and one of the 5 claws. If he really showed the appearance of a 5-clawed true dragon, those invincible kings would probably hunt him down all over the world. However, although he had hidden his dragon horn and 5th dragon claw, he had not hidden his strength and divine ability. Ruzalong, I'll leave it to you, Lin Xian said in a clear voice. On the other side, hundreds of people from Fish Ruzalong were engaged in a great battle. The array formation around him flickered. When he heard Lin Xian's voice, he turned around. In fact, when the soaring serpent appeared, he had already sensed it. It was impossible for him not to know about such a terrifying demonic bloodline. Therefore, when it heard Lin Xian's call, it swung its tail and sent dozens of people flying. Then, it quickly rushed over. Let's go. Seeing the Crimson Dragon leave, the other King Almighties also flew forward. They didn't attack again. Instead, they formed an encirclement and watched from afar. In front of Lin Xian, Tang Shi looked down at Lin Xian with disdain after destroying the dragon's shadow. However, when the Crimson Dragon arrived, his gaze changed. Its huge eyes were filled with shock. It shifted its gaze from Lin Xian to the Crimson Dragon. Roar! Seeing that the other party dared to look at it, the Crimson Dragon roared angrily and shook the 9 heavens. Instantly, everyone fell to the ground. The purple-winged flying serpent also trembled and subconsciously took 2 steps back. It had no choice. It was a terrifying demon king with the bloodline of an ancient demonic beast. However, in front of a real divine dragon, it was nothing. If it wasn't powerful, it would have been crushed. Oomph! Little worm, do you think you can show off in front of Bin Huang just because you have wings? Seeing that the other party had been scared away, the Crimson Dragon snorted in disdain. The people around them widened their eyes so much that their eyeballs almost popped out. In particular, the martial artists from the Tang family were even more shocked. The living fossil of the Tang family was also twitching his eyelids. Oh God, what's going on? That peerless demon king, the terrifying purple-winged flying serpent, was scared away? They didn't dare to imagine. What's so difficult about the long red dragon in front of us? Is it really a horned dragon? The living fossil of the Tang family had a gloomy look on his face. The purple-winged flying serpent roared angrily. It felt insulted. Therefore, In the next moment, it roared and quickly charged over. The purple-winged flying serpent was terrifying. Just the demonic wind alone had sent many people flying. One could imagine that even an almighty being wouldn't be able to withstand it if they were hit head-on. Bring it on. Ben Huang isn't afraid of you. The Crimson Dragon scoffed. I'll eat your flesh and drink your blood. Who knows, Ben Huang might be able to break through. The Crimson Dragon let out a strange cry, swung its tail, and charged over. As the two humongous creatures exchanged blows, terrifying cracks spread. Everyone frantically retreated. It couldn't be helped. The two demonic beasts were too terrifying. A casual attack from them wasn't something these people could resist. Although they retreated, their eyes were fixed on the front. Many people even stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian stopped the living fossil of the elder and said coldly, "Old man, it's time to get rid of you. You're courting death." The living fossil of the elder was furious. Originally, he summoned the vine serpent to deal with the brat in front of him. However, he didn't expect the other party to have an existence similar to a horn dragon. As a result, his vine serpent couldn't kill the other party at all. It seemed that he could only make a move himself. Nevertheless, it didn't matter. At most, he would consume some energy. He wanted to kill the other party with his own hands. Therefore, in the next moment, the living fossil of the elder snorted coldly. His voice was like a thunderclap from the 9 heavens. The space in the sky cracked, making people terrified. Buzz. Elder Shur stretched out a palm and grabbed in front of him. As soon as his palm was out, it enlarged infinitely and covered the entire sky. In that palm, the sun and moon revolved as if it was the entire universe. Everyone was shocked. What kind of ability is that? It's too terrifying, isn't it? The Sun-Moon Divine Palm. It's a legendary palm technique that can evolve the sun and moon. It's extremely terrifying. They didn't expect the living fossil of the elder to be so terrifying. Many people were terrified. Boom. In the sky, the sun and moon divine palm slapped down and instantly enveloped Lin Xian. A terrifying aura descended and could crush the 9 heavens. Lin Xian naturally felt the danger. He snorted coldly and sword light surrounded his body like a sword god. The terrifying sword light split the 9 heavens and blocked the descending light. Then, Lin Xian snorted and waved his hand. The ancient dragon abyss sword that was wrapped in the Tang Snake King's skin began to tremble rapidly and wanted to break out of the body. Oh no! The brat is going to use the sword. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people exclaimed in shock. The living fossil of the elder snorted coldly. You don't have a chance. A sharp light burst out from his eyes and the huge palm that blotted out the sky quickly enveloped him. Chapter 23:43. Crack, crack, crack. The surrounding space was torn apart in an instant. Heaven and earth trembled as countless black holes appeared in the surroundings. Lin Xian was completely wrapped up by the palm. The sun and moon were in the sky. The terrifying power of the surrounding palm caused the void to explode. The bones in Lin Xian's body also made cracking sounds. If the palm was completely closed, no one would be able to withstand the pressure. Great. This kid is definitely dead. The crowd cheered and was extremely excited. It seemed that with the help of the living fossil elder, there was no need for them to fight anymore. Boom, boom, boom. As expected, Lin Xian seemed to have been bound. Only the terrifying sword light surrounded his body. Around him, there were pitch-black cracks in the space. The terrifying sun-moon divine palm quickly enveloped him and then completely merged. Great! That kid is definitely dead. Seeing this scene, the crowd burst into laughter. The living fossil elder also sneered. Boom, boom, boom. But soon, he frowned. The laughter of the surrounding people also stopped. That was because in front of them, there was a low sound coming from the huge palm. It was like a thunderclap, causing the blood of the crowd to churn. In front of them, there was an intense collision from the huge palm. The 5 fingers quickly scattered as if they were about to be blasted apart. Damn it! How is that possible? Is that kid not dead? Oh heavens! He's attacking. Is he trying to blast the sun-moon divine palm away? However, The sun-moon divine palm was indeed terrifying. In the palm, there was a sun and a moon rotating, releasing a terrifying power that suppressed everything. Gradually, the palm closed again. Phew! The crowd heaved a sigh of relief. This time, the kid should not be able to cause any trouble. However, just as they finished speaking, the sun-moon divine palm in front of them suddenly opened up. A huge force directly pushed the entire palm away. In the palm, a figure floated there. His body was surrounded by sword light, like a sword god. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by countless sword chi. He slashed open the terrifying sun-moon divine palm and escaped from it. Damn it, this kid can actually break the sun-moon divine palm. How did he do it? Everyone was extremely shocked. The living fossil elder's face also turned gloomy. In the next moment, he snorted coldly, and the sun-moon divine palm suddenly slammed down, pinning Lin Xian underneath. Boom, boom. The divine palm descended mercilessly, as if to suppress him. At this moment, the sun-moon divine palm seemed to have transformed into a universe as it descended mercilessly. Lin Xian's sword aura instantly dimmed under the pressure, as if it would shatter at any moment. Lin Xian's body continued to descend. It looked like he was about to be suppressed. Get lost. With a furious roar, Lin Xian's sword chi burst out again, blocking the terrifying sun-moon divine palm. At the same time, he quickly communicated with the ancient dragon abyss sword above him. The dragon's sword struggles grew more and more intense, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. The living fossil elder angrily roared. Then, he stretched out a palm and invisible energy gushed out. Suddenly, the vine snake king's skin in the sky emitted purple runes as if to suppress everything. However, he still underestimated the ancient dragon abyss sword. A loud dragon roar and sword chime could be heard. Then, the ancient dragon abyss sword instantly broke through the vine snake king's skin and flew down quickly. What? It actually broke through. Isn't this sword a little too terrifying? The surrounding people were shocked. In the blink of an eye, the ancient dragon abyss sword had already arrived above the sun-moon divine palm and slashed down fiercely. Poof! The sun-moon divine palm shook violently. The light in the sky trembled, and the sun, moon, and stars in the palm shattered. A scream could be heard. The living fossil elder retracted his palm. Blood flowed and dyed the void red. The living fossil elder was injured. The surrounding people's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The martial artists of the Tang family were even more shocked. That was their living fossil elder, and he was extremely terrifying. He could suppress peerless powerhouses. However, at this moment, his arm was injured by a young man. How was that possible? They felt as if they were dreaming. Whoosh! On the other side, the ancient dragon abyss sword flew back to Lin Xian's hand. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stomped on the ground and pointed his sword forward. Old man, today is the day you die. Boom! He waved the ancient sword and used the chaotic heaven destroyer sword technique. The 4 ultimate moves flew forward. Demon Seal, Battle Song, Sky Shattering, Chaotic Upheaval. Boom! Boom! The spirit boat under the living fossil elder's feet was instantly split in half and fell from the sky. Many martial artists on it had their bodies split open and turned into a bloody mist. He killed thousands of powerhouses with a single strike. This technique was too terrifying. The living fossil floated in the void with a terrifying gaze. Suddenly, he opened his mouth, and a terrifying vine snake flew out from his mouth. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws as it charged forward. Humph! Lin Xian stretched out his left hand. His palm was like a dragon's claw. Sword chi surrounded the sky and directly grabbed the vine snake. The surrounding 50,000 miles was filled with violent energy. No one dared to approach. Floating light. At this moment, Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret divine eyes. Instantly, the living fossil fell into an illusion. Then, he screamed in pain. Hearing this, the people tens of thousands of miles away exclaimed, "Damn it, what happened?" On the spirit boat, General Xian Ying's face darkened. Damn it, attack together. He realized that the situation had changed. In an instant, all the experts lit up and quickly charged over. However, when they approached the center, their eyelids twitched wildly and their scalps went numb. Because in front of them, half of the living fossil elder's body was torn open. His internal organs and deep white bones could be seen. At this moment, he was hiding in the distance and panting nonstop. He looked like he was on his last breath. Damn it, what happened? How could the living fossil elder be seriously injured in such a short period of time? The powerhouses of Tengjiao were even more in disbelief. They quickly flew over. Some of the other people clenched the sabers and swords in their hands as if they were facing a great enemy. They exerted the power in their bodies to the limit. As for the living fossil elder, he took out 2 purple pills and quickly swallowed them. At the same time, he said weakly, "Be careful, that kid knows how to use illusions." Illusions? Hearing this, everyone's expression changed. A few powerhouses hurriedly took out soul defense artifacts and carried them on their bodies. Soul attacks were impossible to guard against. Didn't they see that the living fossil elder was at a disadvantage? They did not dare to be careless. After these people took soul defense, they quickly charged over. Lin Xian also roared angrily. The great dragon sword soul was activated to the limit, and his combat strength increased crazily. Buzz! The dragon sword's spirit realm flew out and transformed into a true dragon that kept swinging its tail. He also used the chaotic heaven destroyer sword and charged forward. In an instant, a terrifying battle broke out. The people who came this time were not ordinary people. They were all elite powerhouses. If they attacked at the same time, even a peerless king would not be able to resist. Chapter 23:44. Those who came this time were not ordinary people. They were all elite powerhouses. If they attacked together, even peerless kings would not be able to resist them. But now, they were being killed until they screamed in pain. Lin Xian waved his ancient sword. Every time his sword fell, a martial artist would fall. Every time the green dragon formed by the dragon sword realm swung its tail, many powerhouses would be sent flying. Some of the weaker ones were even turned into blood mist. Not only that, but the goddess of ice also appeared on Lin Xian's body. The terrifying ice wings flapped and dozens of kings were frozen in the void. Hellfire spread out, and countless powerhouses were wrapped in flames. They screamed in pain. In the end, they were turned into ashes. Not good. He was too strong. The martial artists from those families screamed crazily as they were killed. The people from the Taiyi dynasty roared crazily. Attack! They must not let him escape. This time, they had come with the conviction to kill the other party. How could they allow the other party to escape? Although the other party was strong, they had many people this time. Even if they had to fight, they had to kill him. Boom, boom, boom. The powerhouses from the Taiyi dynasty quickly set up a formation. Not only that, but the martial artist from the Tang family and the Castellan mansion also set up terrifying killing formations. They had no choice but to join forces. Otherwise, they would not be able to do anything to the other party. In the sky, formations appeared one after another, emitting dazzling rays of light. They enveloped the entire heaven and earth, and a terrifying power pierced through the 9 heavens. The Castellan mansion set up the green lotus sword formation. 64 powerhouses stood in 8 directions, each holding a green sword. Sword chi surrounded their bodies, forming a huge lotus that rotated in the sky. The Tung family set up the vine snake battle. 72 soaring snakes danced in the sky like divine rainbows, suppressing all directions. They kept moving, spitting out divine light that scattered in front of them. The powerhouses from the Taiyi dynasty were even more impressive. Although they only sent 36 people, they set up the famous 8 Desolation Blazing Fire formation. 8 Desolation Blazing Fire, burning everything. The 36 powerhouses were all experts of the fire element. At this moment, they joined forces to set up a peerless formation. They swore to refine Lin Xian. A terrifying array formation appeared in the sky, covering the 9 heavens. The powerful aura made the people in the distance tremble. The Crimson Dragon also frowned. He roared, swung his tail, and wanted to help. Roar. However, at that moment, the purple-winged soaring snake blocked their path. The purple wings were like heavenly blades, constantly attacking. As a result, the crimson dragon was unable to provide support. Although the purple-winged soaring snake was inferior to the crimson dragon in terms of bloodline power, it was still very powerful. Therefore, when the two were combined, they were evenly matched. Haha, little brat, go to hell. The people of the Tai dynasty were the first to attack. The 36 fire element powerhouses attacked together, forming a terrifying sea of fire between heaven and earth, burning fiercely. The Raging Inferno 8 Desolation Array was a famous array in ancient times. At this moment, when it was used, its power was terrifying beyond compare. In an instant, Lin Xian was sent flying. A trace of blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. The bones in his body were almost broken, and the blood in his body was roiling. He had to admit that the Raging Inferno 8 Desolation Array was too terrifying. On the other side, the Soaring Snake Array was also activated. Dozens of soaring snakes danced in the air, as if they were real primordial monsters, emitting terrifying power. They directly crashed into the space where Lin Xian was. Countless sword screens appeared on Lin Xian's body to resist. Even so, he was still blasted back 20,000 miles. Just as he stopped, the Green Lotus Sword Array of the City Lord's mansion was also activated. In the sky, countless sword chi surged, forming a huge green lotus that pressed down from the sky. The green lotus spun rapidly, slashing out thousands of sword chi. Clang, clang, clang. The terrifying sword chi completely pierced through the entire space. Lin Xian was sent flying again. His injuries were even more serious. However, his eyes were extremely bright. The longevity incantation in his body was activated, quickly healing his injuries. At the same time, the dragon sword soul kept roaring, and Lin Xian's combat strength soared again. A sword chi armor appeared on his body, and the dragon sword realm floated above his head. Kid, you're no match for us at all. Kneel down obediently. The powerhouses of the Tai dynasty snorted, and the other martial artists of the City Lord's mansion and the Tang family also sneered. Finally, we've finally injured this kid. It's really not easy. However, when they thought about it, the other party would definitely not be able to resist their 3 killing formations. You want me to admit defeat? With just these 3 great killing formations, they were still far from enough. Lin Xian snorted and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. The light in his eyes became even brighter. You're courting death. Since that's the case, don't blame us. Hearing the other party's words, the powerhouses of the Tai dynasty snorted and activated the 8 wilderness blazing fire array again. Boom, boom. Terrifying flames raged out. The 36 fire element powerhouses were extremely powerful. In an instant, the sea of fire that filled the sky once again enveloped Lin Xian. Boom. Today, I'll let you know what the real 8 wilderness blazing fire is. Lin Xian roared angrily, and the hellfire on his body burned fiercely. Then, it quickly condensed and rolled behind him. Then, it formed a black fire dragon. This black fire dragon was very ferocious, and what was even more strange was that it had 8 heads arranged in a row. It was very terrifying. 8 wilderness blazing dragon, burn for me. Boom, boom, boom. The 8 heads of the black fire dragon roared together, then opened their bloody mouths and spat out black flames that filled the sky. In an instant, it collided with the other party's flames. The 2 forces collided in the air. Damn it! Destroy it! On the opposite side, the 36 fire element powerhouses roared together. On Lin Xian's side, the great dragon sword soul roared crazily. Boom, boom. In the end, the 2 flames exploded in the sky, forming a huge black hole that devoured the surroundings. The 36 fire element powerhouses kept retreating, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. On the other side, Lin Xian also retreated a few thousand meters, his face pale. What? He actually blocked the 8 wilderness blazing fire array. He blocked such a terrifying formation alone. In the distance, the people who were watching the battle went crazy. They were all martial artists from the other families. At this moment, under the power of the 3 killing formations, They could only hide in the distance and watch the battle. However, when they saw this scene, they all went crazy. Not only them, but the people from the Tang family and the city lord's mansion were also stunned. They knew that they couldn't stay any longer and had to attack with all their might. Kid, go to hell. In the sky, 72 vine snakes danced, and the terrifying power shattered the void. On the other side, the terrifying green lotus sword chi slashed down, piercing through everything. The two killing formations once again enveloped Lin Xian. It's just a vine snake. How dare it compete with a giant dragon? Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, and the dragon sword domain above his head trembled rapidly. Then, 81 giant dragons were drawn out. These were 81 giant golden dragons, each of which was 1,000 meters long. Their huge bodies covered the sky, and the golden scales on their bodies shone brightly. They carried a terrifying impact of power and coercion. Chapter 23:45. Each of the 81 golden dragons was 1,000 meters long. Their huge bodies covered the sky, and the golden scales on their bodies shone brightly. They carried with them a terrifying force. Roar! Roar! They were formed by the great dragon sword soul, so they had the true might of a dragon. As soon as the 81 golden dragons appeared, they roared in the void. Buzz! They charged toward the 72 soaring serpents. Boom! 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 The 72 soaring serpents could not withstand it at all and exploded in the air, forming a mist that filled the sky. The 72 powerhouses of the Tang family also vomited blood and were sent flying. They smashed mountains and rivers and split open the void. The two killing formations were destroyed, and only the green lotus sword chi above their heads was left. You want to compete with me in sword technique? You're too inexperienced. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Ever since he started cultivating, he had been practicing the sword path. Moreover, he had the terrifying great dragon sword soul. How could these people defeat him in sword technique? In the next moment, 108,000 swords rushed out of his body and condensed in the sky, forming a terrifying giant sword that slashed down. Boom! Boom! The green lotus was instantly split open, and countless green sword chi flew out. The 36 sword path powerhouses also vomited blood. The long swords in their hands were broken in half. Terrifying. It was too terrifying. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock. They could not believe that a young man could fight against 3 killing formations. It was too unbelievable. Next, it's my turn to attack. Lin Xian used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps and quickly charged over. His speed was too fast and had reached an extreme. In an instant, he arrived in front of the Sword Kings in the governor's residence. He kept waving the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. No, those people's pupils constricted as they screamed crazily. However, in the next moment, there was no sound. In the sky, 36 sword lights lit up, and then 36 heads flew into the sky. The terrifying corpses fell, and blood sprayed all over the ground. He killed 36 sword path powerhouses with a single sword strike. This scene caused everyone to be alarmed, especially the martial artists of the Tai dynasty and the Tang family. They retreated crazily. In the distance, more powerhouses came to support them. However, Lin Xian's demigods and semi-devils was too fast. In the next moment, he appeared in front of the people from the Tai dynasty. Behind him, the huge head of the 8 Desolation Fire Dragon kept roaring and spewing out black hellfire. The fire elemental almighties teaming up? Kill me? Let me have a taste of being burned by fire. The 8 fire dragon heads spat out flames that filled the sky, completely engulfing the 36 fire elemental mighty figures. Cries of agony rang out one after another. The bodies of these fire elemental powerhouses were filled with brilliant light as they tried to fight back. However, it was impossible to do so. In the end, they were burned to ashes and scattered in the air. No, damn it, how could he be so strong? Countless people exclaimed in disbelief. The reason for that was because his opponent's battle prowess was simply too terrifying. It made them all tremble. The members of the Tang family were even more terrified. They wanted to escape. The living fossils of the Tang clan also wanted to attack, But Lin Xian turned his head and stared at them. This time, he did not use his movement technique. Instead, he extended his palm. His palm stretched out and covered the world. The terrifying palm was vast and boundless, covering the entire sky. Not only that, but the finger was like a divine pillar that reached the sky. The sun, moon, and stars revolved around it, emitting a mysterious aura. It was as if a real universe was pressing down from the sky. Sun Moon Divine Palm. God, how could he know the Tang clan's divine ability? The members of the Tang clan went crazy. They were all so scared that they almost peed their pants. The living fossil of the Tang clan was even more stunned. He could not understand how the other party knew his ultimate move. Moreover, the power seemed to be even more terrifying than his. Damn it! Who is this brat? Who is he? He roared crazily. In the next moment, the living fossil also used the Sun-Moon Divine Palm to fight back. In the sky, the two Sun-Moon Divine Palms collided, forming a terrifying force that could destroy the universe. It directly killed the 72 powerhouses of the Tang clan. Humph. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian snorted coldly and retracted his palm. The living fossil's expression was extremely ugly. He originally wanted to save people, but he did not expect that not a single one of them would succeed. 72 elite powerhouses were directly killed in front of him. Damn brat, I want you to die. The living fossil of the Tang clan roared at the sky. His white hair danced wildly, and he looked extremely demonic. With just you? Your qi and blood have dried up, and you're about to die. You're no match for me. Lin Xian snorted coldly and looked down. Then, his gaze passed through the layers of light and the endless void and stared at a figure on the spirit ship in the distance. Xianying, get over here and die. Xianying, that's right. It's him. He started from the Tai dynasty and chased them all the way to the Jiuli dynasty. Throughout the entire process, the other party was leading the team. How could Lin Xian not be angry? Therefore, he decided that no matter what, he had to kill the other party. Seeing this scene, everyone was bewildered. However, General Xianying snorted coldly. You want to fight me with just you? You're overestimating yourself. There was a hint of disdain in his eyes. How could a brat be qualified to make him attack? On the other side, the living fossil of the Tang clan was so angry that he vomited blood. He was despised. He was actually despised by a brat. This was intolerable. In the next moment, he roared angrily and quickly charged over. He wanted to use the other party's blood to defend his dignity. A purple light flew out, lit up from the snake-headed walking stick, and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian flipped his hand, and a terrifying sword light directly shattered the sky. It drowned the purple light. Then, he slashed out dozens of sword chi again and charged towards the living fossil. The living fossil elder had already recovered from his injuries after using the secret medicinal pills. However, his strength was still much weaker than before. When the others saw this scene, they frowned. Especially General Xianying. His face was gloomy, and his gaze was cold. Damn it! This brat has been fighting for so long. Why hasn't his strength weakened at all? Instead, he's getting stronger. How much spiritual power does he have in his body? The other powerhouses also noticed this. This was too shocking. Although the other party had the combat strength of a peerless mighty figure, his true cultivation base was not that of a peerless mighty figure. He was just an ordinary mighty figure. How could the other party's spiritual power storage be so much? Forget it. Let's kill him together. A long night might cause trouble. General Xianying snorted and prepared to attack. On the other side, a black-clothed woman also walked out of the governor's residence. She still had her elegance. At this moment, she was holding a black long sword, and her body was filled with killing intent. She was a powerhouse from the governor's residence. She was a peerless mighty figure, Hong Xinyang. At this moment, she also swayed her waist and walked out. Whoosh, whoosh. The two peerless powerhouses moved and charged forward. Boom. In front, Lin Xian and the living fossil were locked in a fierce battle. However, at this moment, Lin Xian suddenly frowned, and a strong sense of danger appeared in his eyes. Next, He no longer paid attention to the Tang clan's living fossil and turned around to quickly retreat. Chapter 2346. Boom, boom. In the next moment, the space where he was originally standing shattered. The terrifying power destroyed everything. The aftermath of this energy hit Lin Xin's body, causing him to keep retreating. Damn it! Lin Xin frowned, his eyes cold. That was because he realized that there were two more figures in front of him. One was General Xian Ying, and the other was a woman in a black dress. The other party's aura was also very strong, reaching the level of a peerless almighty. 3 peerless almighties actually joined forces to attack. This made Lin Xin encounter the most dangerous moment in history. Let's join forces. General Xian Ying held the halberd in his hand and stood in the void like a demon god. Hearing this, Hong Xinyang and the living fossil elder nodded. Among them, the living fossil snorted coldly, and a ferocious snake head mark appeared on his head. Then, scales appeared on his body. A terrifying power was rapidly recovering. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone looked over. Then, they were shocked. Even Lin Xin frowned because he realized that the living fossil elder had undergone a shocking change. His body was no longer short and withered. Instead, he straightened his back and became abnormally tall. His withered skin was also full of luster. His old face became incomparably handsome. Not only that, his white hair became incomparably black, like 3,000 waterfalls dancing wildly in the wind. An old man with 1 foot in the grave instantly turned into a young man with a heroic bearing. He looked extremely valiant. The muscles all over his body were filled with explosive power. The surrounding King Almighty sucked in a breath of cold air. If they did not see it with their own eyes, it would be difficult for them to imagine that the handsome young man in front of them was actually an old man. Moreover, he was an old man who had lived for more than 3,000 years. Wasn't this a little too terrifying? Rejuvenation. Lin Xin also frowned. He knew that the other party should have used some kind of forbidden power. It caused his body to temporarily reach its peak state. It seemed that the other party was going to go all out. Lin Xin's expression was very ugly. He could still fight against a living fossil. He was confident in fighting one-on-one against General Xian Ying. However, with 3 peerless experts attacking together, the pressure on him would increase exponentially. However, Lin Xin was not afraid at all. He took out a large amount of spirit herbs from the black earth and quickly swallowed them. Then, he tossed 2 divine crystals into his domain and quickly absorbed them. The art of longevity circulated his cultivation to replenish the energy he had consumed. The 2 divine crystals instantly turned into energy and poured into his body, causing his aura to erupt once again, reaching its peak. This brat, what extravagant means. 2 divinity crystals and countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures had raised him to the peak of his combat strength in an instant. Heavens, he was so rich. After killing him, he must have a lot of treasures on him. The crowd in the distance discussed animatedly. General Xian Ying and the other 2 narrowed their eyes. The other party had actually recovered to his peak state in an instant, which was indeed beyond their expectations. But so what? With the 3 of them working together, even a dragon would have to crouch. They did not believe that the other party would be able to stir up any waves. Kid, do you have any last words? General Xian Ying looked forward. Why? Do you think you can defeat me? Lin Xin snorted coldly. Although the situation was critical now, it was not fatal. One had to know that he had many trump cards in his hands, so he was not afraid at all. Nonsense. Do you think you have a chance to turn the tables? On the other side, Hong Xinyang also snorted in disdain. The living fossil elder sneered. Brat, I'll show you my true power today. Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, the living fossil elder of the Tang family took the initiative to attack. The purple light condensed and formed a terrifying light that surged forward. It was like a stormy sea. The power of this palm was even more terrifying than before. Obviously, after the living fossil elder turned into a young man's body, his strength and speed had increased greatly compared to before. It seemed that this was the other party's peak combat strength. Humph. Seeing the other party's attack, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He clenched his left fist, turned it into a black sun, and blasted it forward. Boom. With a loud bang, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A huge crack appeared in the terrifying space and spread in all directions. As for the almighty kings who were watching, they screamed and fell to the ground. Some of them even exploded into blood mist because they were too close. It could not be helped. This was a peerless attack, and it was very terrifying. Those almighty kings could not withstand it at all. The two of them attacked, and the two palms collided in the air. It was difficult to determine the winner. At this moment, General Xianying and Hong Xinyang made their move. The two of them would not just watch the battle. Instead, they were going to attack and kill the other party. Boom! The halberd danced in the air, turned into a sharp light, and descended from the sky. It was like a thunderbolt, trying to split Lin Xian apart. On the other side, Hong Xinyang waved her black longsword, forming a powerful killing intent. The terrifying sword light directly pierced through the void, stabbing towards Lin Xian's vital point. Both of them were peerless powerhouses. At this moment, the power of their attacks was very terrifying. No matter how strong Lin Xian was, he still felt a strong sense of danger. He did not want to continue fighting. His body swayed, and he dodged Hong Xinyang's sword chi. However, the halberd above his head smashed down like a mountain. Buzz! Lin Xian waved his hand, and a blue shield flew out, blocking in front of him. Previously, he had killed countless powerful enemies and collected their storage rings. He had a lot of weapons in his hands. This blue shield was a top-grade Earthrank artifact. Clang! The halberd hit the blue shield, and a shocking sound was heard. Countless spatial cracks spread out, and Lin Xian was pushed back by the huge force. The blue shield in front of him was also sent flying. Kid, in front of us, you're not a match at all. General Xianying snorted, and then the three peerless powerhouses attacked again. Lin Xian fought 1 against 3. The sky fell, and the earth cracked, and the sun and moon lost their light. The area within a radius of 100,000 miles was destroyed. The sky was filled with light as if it was the end of the world. Boom! Boom! However, Lin Xian was at a disadvantage, and the situation was very dangerous. It could not be helped. Although he was a young genius, he was still too young, only in his 20s. Among the three opponents, one was an old monster who had lived for more than 3,000 years, and the other two were peerless powerhouses who had lived for more than 1,000 years. When the three of them joined forces, it could be said to be very terrifying. Lin Xian could be said to be very heaven-defying for being able to hold on until now. However, he was still injured. The blue shield was directly shattered into pieces. He was severely injured, and a few of his ribs were broken. He vomited blood and was sent flying. Humph! How dare you attack the three of us? You overestimate yourself. Chapter 23:47. Humph! How dare you attack the three of us? You overestimate yourself. Red Xinyang sneered. The powerhouses hundreds of thousands of miles away gasped when they saw this scene. It was too shocking. The three peerless powerhouses could suppress everything when they joined forces. That kid is definitely dead. That's right, he's done for this time. Just wait, once I catch him. I'll definitely let him have a taste of what it's like to live a life worse than death. Don't worry, he'll end up very miserably. Cold laughter could be heard. Xiao Xuanzi. On the other battlefield, the Crimson Dragon was also furious when he saw this scene. He did not expect that the three peerless powerhouses would attack together. He felt danger. He had to help. So in the next moment, he wanted to leave this place. However, the purple vine snake blocked his way. A hint of mockery appeared in its cold eyes. You want to leave? You'll have to get past me first. However, you won't be able to get past me. The purple vine snake also spoke human language. Damn you, do you really think I don't dare to kill you? The Crimson Dragon was also furious. Previously, I didn't kill you because you have some bloodline with the Dragon Clan. However, you don't know what's good for you. In that case, don't blame Bin Huang for starting a massacre. Humph, you want to kill me? How naive. The purple-winged snake sneered and turned its huge head. I admit that your bloodline power is very strong. However, my strength far surpasses yours. It's not certain who will kill who. At the end of its sentence, its huge eyes emitted a cold light. With your blood, perhaps my bloodline can evolve again. So, go to hell obediently. The purple-winged snake had actually set its sights on the crimson dragon. That was because he realized that the other party's bloodline power was purer than his. It was closer to the dragon clan. If he consumed that bloodline, he might be able to progress in the direction of the dragon clan. In the next moment, the purple wings flapped, forming two huge purple tornadoes that swept forward. Purple Demon Storm, die. The two purple tornadoes danced. Each of them was tens of thousands of feet tall and thousands of meters in diameter. Wherever they passed, mountains and rivers split open, and forests were destroyed. Endless cracks appeared on the ground. Two purple tornadoes instantly enveloped the crimson dragon. Ding ding dang dang. The sound of an intense collision rang out, and a hint of anger appeared in the dark red dragon's eyes. Courting death. See if Bin Huang doesn't tear you apart. As he spoke, he waved his dragon claws and tore the entire void apart. The purple storm that filled the sky was instantly torn apart. Back. With a roar, he charged over. This time, the crimson dragon was really angry. The battle between the two caused mountains to crumble and the earth to crack. That scene was in no way inferior to that of Lin Xian and the others. In fact, it was even more violent. Boom. In the ruins far away, the sky was filled with rubble as Lin Xian stood up. His clothes were torn apart, revealing the armor underneath. The blood at the corner of his mouth was exceptionally glaring. Clearly, the previous attack had injured him, but fortunately, it wasn't that serious. Moreover, with the super recovery technique of the art of longevity, Lin Xian's life wasn't in danger. However, the scene in front of him made him feel threatened. The three powerhouses were very powerful together. He had to break the balance. Lin Xian looked into the distance. The crimson dragon and the purple vine snake were fighting fiercely. It seemed that the crimson dragon wouldn't be able to make a move for the time being. The snow-white monkey was very fast and had the teleportation skill, but it could only sneak attack. There were three of them, so it wasn't very effective. Therefore, Lin Xian didn't intend to use it. Lin Xian decided to unlock the first seal of the ancient dragon abyss sword. Buzz. 9 mysterious runes. When the first rune was unlocked, the ancient dragon abyss sword became extremely sharp. Lin Xian's aura also suddenly skyrocketed. He was like a sword god as he charged over in large strides. There was something wrong with that long sword. Seeing this scene, the living fossil quickly reminded him. Previously, he was injured by the other party's sword, so he was very cautious when he saw this scene. This was because he wouldn't use the same move twice. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand and slashed out 3 sword cheese, slashing forward. The terrifying sword lights slashed at the 3 people in front of him. He had indeed become stronger. General Shinying looked at the incoming sword cheese and didn't dodge. Instead, he waved his Fangtian halberd and quickly resisted them. With a boom, heaven and earth shook. The sword cheese in the sky were instantly cut in half. General Shinying was so powerful. The martial artists in the distance exclaimed when they saw this scene. The living fossil of the Tang family roared and slapped out with his purple palm. It was like the hand of a demon king, shattering the terrifying sword cheese. On the other hand, Hong Xinyang's body swayed. She didn't resist. However, she slashed out a sword light with her backhand and slashed forward. Whoosh! Lin Xian swayed and instantly dodged Hong Xinyang's sword light. He charged forward. His target was still the living fossil of the Tang family. This was because he could tell that although the living fossil of the Tang family was powerful, he had the most flaws. Firstly, the other party had been injured previously. Although he had recovered, he was still far from being at his peak. Secondly, the other party was too old. It could be said that the qi and blood in his body had dried up. Although he had forcefully used a secret technique to raise himself to his peak state, he probably wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to get rid of the living fossil first. Buzz. His body flashed in the air like lightning and instantly arrived near the living fossil. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand danced crazily. A terrifying sword chi slashed forward. This sword chi was even more powerful than before. It was obvious that Lin Xian was only confusing the other party and didn't use his true strength. Now, the power of the ancient dragon abyss sword erupted. What? The living fossil of the Tang family had a gloomy look on his face. Then, he was furious. The other party was looking for him again. What does this mean? Does he think that I'm the weakest among the three? He couldn't tolerate that. In the next moment, he roared and slapped out 18 purple palms in a row. They were like 18 mountains that surrounded the field in the air. They collided with the sword chi that filled the sky. An intense collision rang out. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Attack! I absolutely can't let that brat succeed. General Xianying shouted coldly. He held his halberd and charged over. On the side, Hong Xinyang's figure swayed and disappeared like a ghost. They didn't intend to give Lin Xian a chance to fight alone. In an instant, the two of them arrived in front of Lin Xian again. This time, Lin Xian ignored the two of them. Two sword chi rushed out of his body and turned into two figures that looked exactly like him. Then, he cooperated with the dragon sword domain and fought against General Xianying and Hong Xinyang. This was the clone technique of the All Beginnings Holy Land. Lin Xian used the great dragon sword soul to simulate it. He hoped that he could resist for a while. He knew that although this divine ability was powerful, it couldn't completely resist the other party. However, he just needed a bit of time. Chapter 23:48. After doing that, Lin Xian's eyes emitted a sharp light, and various divine abilities rushed towards the living fossil elder. Chaotic Heaven Destroyer Sword. 4 killer moves. Sea God's Ice, Hellfire, and Terrifying Lightning. In an instant, the place where the living fossil elder was completely annihilated. Boom, boom. An earth-shattering explosion resounded. The living fossil elder also did his best to counterattack. However, the other party's methods were too fierce. For a moment, he was beaten back and vomited blood. The living fossil elder roared crazily. He was about to go crazy. His heart was filled with killing intent for the other party to treat him like this. In the next moment, he waved his snake-headed walking stick and used the Tang family's great divine ability to fight back. On his body, the illusory image of 9 soaring snakes appeared, cooperating with him to kill the other party. However, Lin Xian sneered. His figure changed and instantly retreated far away. The 2 clones he sent out had been killed by General Xianying and Hong Xinyang, so he would not continue to fight with them. As expected, the 2 clones were killed. General Xianying and Hong Xinyang stared at Lin Xian with lightning eyes. The 3 of them joined forces again. Looking at the 3 of them, Lin Xian sneered. Above him, the dragon sword domain directly enveloped General Xianying. As for the demon-slaying sword formation, it restrained Hong Xinyang. This time, the living fossil elder was once again alone. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand and slashed a few times. The terrifying sword chi was like a long river, slashing over. Courting death, the living fossil elder was already prepared. He waved his snake-headed walking stick and destroyed everything. However, in the next moment, he screamed in pain. That was because he felt that the soul in his body was burning. The pain was 10 times, no, 100 times more painful than the previous injuries he suffered. Damn it, it's another soul attack. The living fossil elder was about to go crazy. He had seen the other party's illusion before, so there was a purple mark on his forehead for defense. However, he did not expect the other party to have an even stranger attack. It could actually burn his soul. This made his face full of horror. In an instant, he was injured. In fact, he did not even want to fight anymore. Because his soul was damaged, it was very troublesome to recover. He had swallowed a large number of pills, but it was only enough to stop his injuries from worsening. However, it was impossible for him to recover in a short period of time. More importantly, he did not have much vitality left. Even if he maintained such a youthful and vigorous state, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Initially, he thought that the three of them would be able to take down the other party quickly. But now, it seemed that it was impossible. In the next moment, he retreated rapidly. Lin Xian did not give chase because General Xian Ying and Hong Xinyang had charged out again. Although the whole process seemed to take a long time, it was actually only a matter of a few seconds. The Dragon Sword Domain and the Demon Slaying Sword Formation could only block General Xian Ying and the others for about 5 seconds. Any longer, and it would be impossible. Unless Lin Xian did it himself. However, 5 seconds was enough for a prodigy like Lin Xian to do a lot of things. Just like now, in just 3 seconds, he had injured the living fossil elder. In the distance, the Tang family's martial artists roared madly. That was because they realized that the living fossil elder was truly in a miserable state. His clothes were tattered, his expression was dispirited, and his face was abnormally pale. It would wither at any moment. It seemed that the impact was definitely very serious. Indeed, the living fossil elder's entire body was in pain, especially the burning of his soul, which made him still have lingering fear. When General Xianing and Hong Xinyang saw this scene, their hearts also pounded wildly. Among them, General Xianing formed a seal with his palm, and a crescent moon appeared between his brows, protecting his soul. On the other side, Hong Xinyang took out a small black cauldron and floated above her head, releasing tens of thousands of light screens. After doing all this, the two of them stared ahead again. Kill. The three of them roared. This time, they also used their trump cards, not giving Lin Xian any chance to turn the tables. The Great Destruction. General Xian Ying was like a demon god as he slashed down with the Fangtian halberd in his hand. A terrifying light was sent over. On the other side, Hong Xinyang also performed a spiritual water sword technique that was extremely sharp. The living fossil elder gritted his teeth. This time, he took out a very strange treasure. It was a red box, the size of a palm, covered with blood-red patterns, emitting a monstrous, murderous aura. Everyone's face turned pale. What was that? Many people were frightened, but an elder from the Tai dynasty exclaimed, "Could it be the legendary Demon Blood Box?" Demon Blood Box, what was that thing? Some people were puzzled, but soon they knew. Because someone explained, the Demon Blood Box is the blood left behind by a peerless demon beast. It's very terrifying. One drop was enough to kill a powerhouse. They just didn't know what grade the demon blood in the other party's hand was. What? So powerful. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect the other party to use such a terrifying killer move. Buzz. The living fossil elder's expression was cold. He slowly opened the demon blood box in his hand. The monstrous, murderous aura turned into a sea of blood, rolling above the 9 heavens. In front, General Xian Ying and Hong Xinyang also felt the danger. The two of them pulled away from Lin Xian and stood on opposite sides to prevent the other party from escaping. Lin Xian furrowed his brows because he felt an intense sense of danger once again. The red blood in front of him had a great impact on him. But fortunately, the dragon's sword soul in his body roared, and a terrifying pressure instantly disappeared. Kid, be careful. That's the demon blood of a peerless demon king. In the distance, Crimson Shenong warned. At this moment, he was fighting with the purple vine snake. The purple vine snake was very miserable. There were many wounds on its body, and one of its purple wings was torn in half. It could be said that it was completely suppressed by the Crimson Dragon. However, it would not die for a while. Therefore, the Crimson Dragon could not come over to help. However, it could still inquire about the battle situation from time to time. The blood of a peerless demon king. No wonder. Judging from the aura it emitted, it had probably surpassed the 8-star demon king. Lin Xian and the others' combat power were all at the 8-star level. But the other party had surpassed the 8-star level. Therefore, even General Xian Ying and Hong Xinyang were very cautious. They quickly retreated, afraid that they would be stained with the blood. Kid, you should be proud that you made me use this treasure. Now, you can die in peace. The living fossil elder in front had a ferocious expression, and there was even a hint of madness in his eyes. That was because the demonic blood box was a powerful treasure that could be used to kill powerful enemies. He didn't expect that it would be used to deal with a young man in his 20s. But now, he couldn't care less. He had to kill the young man in front of him to vent the hatred in his heart. Go. The living fossil elder held the demon blood box with a solemn expression. Then, he carefully formed a seal with his fingers and summoned one of the drops. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.